beautiful clearing outside of a village, set by firelight as townsfolk gather in a small harvest festival, somewhat smaller than usual because war has yet again come to the countryside. It is the year 57, some 14 years before the events of our story began. Forgive the pun, but what shape is Bolaire in as we find him amongst the harvest festival?
It's been difficult. I have been serving my current master. The man who owns me is a soldier. And we are fighting for freedom, which is what I do. I'm tired, but I don't know I'm tired. It's been so many battles over the last 59 years. It's just another war.
Amongst you, your companions, or maybe not your companions, but somehow the companions of the one who wears you, stand beside you in a small circle, talking. They talk like this often, sort of avoiding speaking directly to you. Margrave, look, listen to me. If those Royce fucks come over the hill tomorrow, we're ruined. That Davinos lad cut down 5 of us yet. I understand. We're going to act decisively when we get a chance to. They don't know we've got it, do they? And you see he points over to you. Another one of the rebels looks over and says, Sal, I think Castif's been wearing the mask a little bit too long. It's been all day, hasn't it? When I had to take it off, I almost shit myself. The thing, it wreaks havoc on the body. We should take it off sooner rather than later. You see that one of the soldiers, Clued, looks over at you and goes, Mask, does Castip need to, is he hungry? Is he thirsty?
He is thirsty, and he would like to speak, not through me for a moment. He would like a moment of freedom. I serve his will.
Let's take it off. No, not now. There could be fairies or anything else running around here trying to... You have no idea what they could be doing. The Royce have ears in the bushes all around. And you see that there is suddenly a change. The lighting changes, and you see that a caravan has dropped a small wooden platform. There are lights, little torches in front of mirrors that cast the light back onto a small stage. And you see, entering the stage, a face done in white makeup, a little beauty mark, and the most glorious, beautiful red wig you've ever seen. Cascading curls comes down. Hark and behold, villagers and townsfolk, for the tale we tell is of a tale of lost glory. Hearken and hear the story of the Shaper's War. Tales you have heard, blades of iron, staves of night, a single arrow striking down the last of the false and wicked Shapers. But there is one tale yet untold, the mystery of the trickster's fall. No weapon ever seen that could find the heart true of she who walked in shadow. And yet the tale has come to us! Blowing some powder into a torch. Boom! Blue fire crackles up, and the townsfolk clap and cheer. What does Bolaire do in this moment?
I panic. It's a theater. It's a stage. It's the first one I've seen since... It's the first one I've seen since my siblings and I wrote a trickster goddess out of reality and proved to her that she cannot exist. Stages are for murder. Stages are for truth. It's the only truth. All men, all mortals lie. What is this lie? No one knows what we did. What is this?
The last time you saw a stage was opening night and closing night of the greatest performance that Ahriman has ever known. And yet, it was not a play written for people. You see, the announcer speaks, gesturing, and says, "Behold here, in her domain, Rowan the trickster, shaper of men's fates and fortune, who gives ill luck to the pure of heart." "Boo, boo," shouts the crowd. But there is one weakness. For indeed, the story of how she was bested. However could a god be slain unless that god be made mortal? And why would a god abandon godhood for anything less than true love? Hey! You see, behold the heroic Kleinheld, romantic knight of chivalry and daring do, with a heart as large as his courage. Aho, Kleinheld! And you see, galloping on a little wooden hobby horse that's quickly removed, a man takes the stage. "What ho! A knight am I, search for lady love, and yet cursed by cruel witchcraft to never know the tender caress of a maiden born under star and moon, nor gleaming sun. Yes, cursed am I." And you see the woman playing the trickster turns and says, "What's this I behold? A man. I shall curse his fate, as is my wont. But what is this? How fair his visage, how glorious his temperament. Perhaps 3 tricks I shall play this evening on him, and shall he best them, my heart he shall win." Yay! Woo! The announcer says, "And yea, verily, did the trickster plot her 3 wicked tricks, and they..." "What's this? A fool with a dog?" And you see that a fool comes on stage and starts to chase a dog around the stage that appears to have no bearing on what is happening with the trickster goddess. And you see someone puts his arm around you laughing. "Oh, I love the dog!" You are grabbed and pulled back by one of the soldiers. "What are you doing?"
It's a very good play.
"What do you mean it's a very... You're a fucking weapon."
No, he's enjoying it so much. I was just letting him through. He seems to want to watch.
"What does it mean if the mask is watching the play? Said it's a good play. It's supposed to just be... I don't like it. Magic Master just give you the fucking spells, not have a whole fucking personality." And you see that another one of them says, "I don't like that he's making Castor watch the play. We should take the mask off and put it away." And you see that they say, "All right, we'll take the mask off if we need to. Let's go get the box." And you see that the play turns as you look up. You see the fool with the dog walks off, and the trickster comes and says, "Trick the first have I concocted, a devilish maze of thorns, guarded by fearsome ogre, and yet at the center of the maze, a great treasure, a sword that can slay any man. We shall see what Kleinheld does here in this place to take the blade for his own, that he be the most fell knight in all of Ahriman." You see that Kleinheld approaches the ogre and says, "Poor beast, you seem injured. Why do you stay and go?" And they begin to say, and you see that the soldiers are coming up with the box for you.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see them coming. And I reach up and I turn away from them. Mm-hmm. And I cast Mask of Many Faces for the first time. And I create the face of the man wearing me. And I mime putting the mask into my jacket pocket and look up.
Castip, you all right?
Yeah, it was so odd.
You got the mask off on your own?
It was like it was afraid too. It was worried about what it was going to become, and it let me put it to sleep.
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
Yeah. 12. Wait, 12.
I'll roll in front of the board. These guys only add a +1. 4 + 1 is 5. Looks and says, all right, good. I'm just worried about it. Look, we need to speak, okay? Let's go ahead and, here, go set up the tent. We'll circle back up in a second. Come join us in 5 minutes, all right? Get some rest. You need to use the loo or anything else like that?
I actually, I'll join up in a little longer. I think I need food.
Oh, yeah, all right. You've been wearing that thing all day. Good on you, Castip. And he slaps you on the shoulder.
I quietly sink to the corner and I hide and watch the rest of the play.
The play continues. Rather than slaying the ogre, Kleinheld befriends it. And they search for the sword together such that the ogre can be defended against the cruelties of a vast world that sees it only as a monster. The trickster comprises a game of chance of rolling dice, and with a cursed set of dice, Kleinheld should absolutely fail and be set to rack and ruin, and yet he offers his turn at the gambling table to 3 wicked men in a row out of kindness and generosity, each of whom lose their fortunes. And at the end, the only one left playing at the table, Kleinheld wins and gives the fortunes to the town. And in his third challenge, he plays a game of cards against the trickster herself, disguised, wagering first his armor, his shield, and finally, his honor itself. Having every ability to bend fortune and seeing that she can make this man lose his honor here in this moment. Instead, her heart breaks. She wins the hand and says, I would not take your honor from you. May I change the nature of your wager? He acquiesces, saying, my lady, my fate is yours. She says, would that I were to have, instead of your honor true, a single kiss of true love. They embrace and kiss. And in this moment she becomes mortal. And in becoming mortal, ages 1,000 years. And Kleinheld follows her to realms beyond, across the stars, and the Master of Ceremonies points to a blade, 3 stars and constellation, Kleinheld's sword pointing the way to his true love, who in becoming mortal and knowing loss and love and heartbreak, left the world and her terrible domain as shaper. The crowd erupts into applause.
But it's a lie. I serve truth, and it's a lie. Why is a lie so much better than the truth?
Near you, you see that there is an older woman clapping and applauding, and who seems to be moved to tears by this moment. She looks over at you. She says, it's a lovely story.
If only the truth could be as lovely as this story.
But it is the truth. Don't you think? Don't you think that they said that they found that it was true, that it feels like the legend makes sense, that true love conquers all, and honorable men farewell, and that cold-hearted tyrants just need to be shown kindness, and they will understand the error of their ways. Don't you think that true?
It's never occurred to me. In my whole life, it has never occurred to me. I have been at war for too long. I think I'd like to find out. I think I would like to find out if you're right. Thank you.
Oh, you strange duck.
Too much fighting without purpose. I am tired. I'm more tired than I knew I could be. I think it's time to find out if there's more out there. I think it might be time to see who I am not at war and not serving a commander. Thank you.
Oh, it wasn't me. It was them. She gestures to the stage, and you see them all taking a big group ensemble bow.
Maybe the audience is important too. I have much I have to do. Thank you. I'm going to change my life.
Wow. All right. I'm Ulysses. Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Yes, all right. Best of luck. It sounds like you're dealing with a lot.
Yes, I have much to think about. I have much to think about. Thank you.
Good night. Bolaire, elsewhere in the camp, your host's companions are gathering. What do you do in this moment?
I tell the man who I'm wearing that I apologize, but he can't come out ever again. I've had a change of heart. And then in return, I will fight for his cause. They have me for the duration, but the situation has changed, and I'm going to start over, and I'm going to be a better story, and I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to be clever, and I'm going to be myself, whoever that is. But first, I think I'm going to have to kill all these people in their sleep. I think that I'm going to have to go one at a time, very quietly, and put them to sleep and tell them just to remain so that I can slit their throats and burn the evidence. Then, after that's done, the story can begin.
Bolaire's story did indeed begin. And we return to the story occurring elsewhere in Ahriman at a time some years later on tonight's episode of Critical Role.
Oh, hello there, and welcome to tonight's Critical Role announcement. Playhouse, I found it.
Hi.
Hi. Our sponsor tonight is a longtime supporter, NordVPN. Sam?
Don't fuck this up. Don't fuck
I
this
won't. You're not allowed to say the F word in the first 30 seconds of the stream.
Don't
Oh, wait,
fuck
this is like
stream?
10, 15 minutes in. We're good. Hi. Hi, guys. When you're traveling, your internet behavior changes. You may connect to random Wi-Fi hotspots or try to access content from your home country. Each of those moments creates a small window of risk. But using a VPN while traveling can help avoid it. And speaking of traveling, folks have been asking us, where is Travis during Announcement Playhouse? Is he out of town? Is he too busy? Is he just lazy? The answer is, I don't really know. But rather than ask Laura...
Oh, no, I can answer that.
Oh, rather than ask Laura, I decided to hide a bunch of cameras in Travis's home, office, bathroom, and car to find out what he's up to during Announcement Playhouse.
Bathroom?
Let's check in on him right now.
Yeah, no, it's just important that this deal goes through today, ASAP, if possible. Can we make that happen?
Oh, he's doing some CEO stuff. That's normal. That's normal, right?
Yeah, no, it's just this gift is for a very special person, and it means a lot that they receive it soon. So, if you could please send...
Wait, this sounds personal. Laura, maybe we should stop.
No, keep playing. I want to know what I'm getting.
Okay.
Yes, I'd actually like to send 3 dozen roses, box of chocolates, and I saw on your site, one of your sweet and spicy candles.
Oh my God, he's the best husband ever.
The recipient? It's Travis Willingham. He's a close personal friend. The note should say, Dear Travis, you're doing great as CEO. Everyone believes in you. They trust you. They love you. You're not an idiot. You're just not.
Well, I mean, I guess self-love is a good thing, right?
Oh, the sender? Yeah, you could just put from your best friend T-Dub, T-Bone, T-Dub is good. It's less letters. Yes, to the Critical Role offices, as always. All right, thanks. Yeah, talk to you next week. All right. Okay, bye. Another candle.
So you hid cameras in our bathroom?
Just in the toilet. Exclusive! Grab the NordVPN deal at nordvpn.com/criticalrole and get 4 extra months. Try it risk-free now with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Matt, hack to you.
Thank you, Sam. Next up, Marisha, you have an announcement.
Guys. No.
What was that?
A transition.
I know, but it was so sad.
Guys. It was sincere.
Okay.
You just don't understand emotions.
Pretty true.
Right now is the perfect time to jump into Campaign 4 as we transition from the soldiers to the Seekers. What? So I just dropped my phone. If you're feeling lost or you want to catch up, we do have several resources like written recaps and video summaries from each story arc called Previously On. You can find all that you need and more at critroll.com/campaign4.
With a number 4.
With a number 4. Put it like here. Put it here. That's where you can get caught up on in summaries. Or you can just go watch it. But you should jump in. Now's a good time to jump in. See what the Seekers are doing. Get it. Help.
I believe that concludes
I know, they're so short right now.
our announcements. So let's go ahead and jump back into Ahriman, shall we?
Hello and welcome back to tonight's episode of Critical Role. We return to the Seeker's Table. Matt said blah blah's la blah. Blah 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 blah. Snitch! You guys have to not laugh as continuously into the episode because then I feel like I need to address it. We return to the city of Riegel at the far west of the country of Helva. This is the sister city to Dolmakyar across the Dvalmar Pass into the lands of the old fallen Obrademian Empire. We found our adventurers here on their way east pursuing a vision of death and what transpires, perhaps even in realms beyond this one. A vision of deep and hidden, dark and sunken places, and of the beloved ones we may know who may be there, if these visions are of things that have occurred or of things that maybe have yet to. More practically, or perhaps tangibly, you have been moved here by the Stone of Night Song, an artifact of ancient elven significance held by Vaelus in this moment, pursuing the first undead she has seen that seems to have something, if not exactly, something like a soul still in its control. And we head east as well, looking for answers, safety of what has befallen the houses of Royce and Davinos after the massacre by the treacherous House Taconis. Your adventure brought you east through the Dvalmar, arriving in the cliff-top city of Riegel, the Giant's Belt, where House Einfasen holds sway, a house sundered but still holding to its ancestral seat. Night has begun to fall here after your endeavors running across the demonic sisters of Tyranny, at this point somewhere in southern Timony, and also coming across the actual noble house of Einfasen, the gentle and kind-hearted seeming young lady Ingrid, and her father, the less demure, shall we say, Lord Otto Einfasen. Collected by knights very eager to have you come stay under their protection, we return to Castle Klippenblick, where you find yourself Klippenblick.
Castle Clip Club.
Castle Clip Club. Where you find yourself in the courtyard, the sun setting, as the Lord Einfasen approaches. Approaching you here in the lovely sunset hour, you see his sort of smiling face as he says, "My Lady Royce, a pleasure once again to hold your great and noble house here in Castle Klippenblick." He does a small bow. She puts out a hand. He kisses her hand. He says, "Your vassal servant, Sir Julien Davinos, let me know that trial and tribulation has seen you brought here under the arches of my family's ancestral home. While you are within my walls, you have my solemn word that no harm shall befall you. I also understand that many of your men-at-arms have been falsely imprisoned by my house. This matter shall be resolved at once." He turns to regard the rest of you, seeing the hireling here in your service, and says, "And my lady, I do not have the honor of your station, but I believe that you walk the old path."
I do. Thaisha Lloy.
Thaisha Lloy? You are very welcome here. Castle Klippenblick has known the proud footfalls of the Lloys in the past. To have yet another instance of that heroic family is a welcome honor.
It's an honor to be here.
He turns to regard you, Vaelus, and says, "Is this warrior also of your retinue, my lady Aranessa?" You see Aranessa cocks a brow and says, "She is. We walk in company together. Otto, there's much for us to discuss. this traveler with us is named Vaelus. She was instrumental in saving my life and the life of my companion and knight, Sir Julien. For reasons of her own, there are arcane events that bring her east. I would ask that she be given leave to stay with us if she can, though she holds no oath of loyalty or duty to my house, or indeed any other. And you see that Lord Einfasen turns to you and says, "Traveler, you are welcome here in my castle."
Thank you very much. And I give a nod to Nessa.
I think that some privacy and ability to recover is a necessity in this time. I will commit some portion of my nights to your escort and safety, and I believe the Schneffenkeep will be suitable for your needs. And he gestures to this, in this enormous walled castle, there is a large keep that he gestures to, apparently for the Lady Ernessa to be able to stay in residence. The run of this keep is yours, and a staff of servants will be provided. We will begin to draw the baths and prepare your food. If I would ask that you please contain yourselves to simply those hallways and rest chambers within the Schneffenkeep, as obviously some manner of trust has been broken between the great sundered houses, and indeed even between some members of our own staff. Such as it is, you would be doing me a great service by remaining within the keep, until such time as I can guarantee your safety everywhere throughout these grounds.
Understood.
Very well.
He nods curtly and says, "Very good. Collect their things!"
I'm just staring at Octus.
I remove the satchel from my shoulder and say, "Here, take this from me, boy. Deliver it to my chambers."
Yes, sir.
And you see that he turns around. There is a small gathering. You see that the Lady Ingrid is still up at that window and moves away as her father steps away, and you see that she kind of retreats to her other tower. You see that the lady of the castle is here as well, the Lady Cordelia, who smiles and introduces herself. And there are two younger lords that look like younger brothers of Ingrid out here. You see Otto walks over to another gentleman wearing a really rich dark gray robe with a series of medals and small chains on it. It sort of looks like a courtly robe, but also with a small set of epaulets. And beside him, you see a woman in coal black robes accented with orange and red in the shape of sort of flames that create these sort of spiked shoulder sort of pauldrons that appear to be members of his ministers, essentially, that he walks over to speak to. What would you all do in this moment?
First, I would turn to Lady Ernessa and say, "My lady, while we are within these grounds, I think it would behoove us to send a message via bird to the Golden Orchard as soon as possible to ensure that if they have not already fallen, they know at least to protect themselves, and if possible, confirmation if my mother and sister still live."
She nods and says, "My cousins as well." She looks out. Go do that now.
Very well.
She says, "Lord Einfasen, and you see he turns and says, my Lady Royce, is there anything that you," and she says, I think it wise that we speak sooner rather than later. A bath is not at the height of my attention right now. I would love to take private audience with you if I can. And you see that he says, "Very well, let's do this at once." She walks off. Anyone who wants to can give me a insight check.
Ooh, I'll take that. 18.
On 18, Aranessa's movement to the Lord Einfasen is a little bit... there's not anything urgent that she needs to talk to him about. So you wonder... everything's urgent, but the difference between a couple of minutes, I think you see on that 18 insight, she was reacting to him going and speaking to his ministers. And I think you realize that she wants to speak to him with as little preparation on his part as possible. And the rest of you are left here in the courtyard.
What do you want to do?
Well, I don't need to sleep.
You don't have to keep saying that, but okay.
I would like to go, maybe we could get some of your supplies for the rest of our trip.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, we're confined to that keep, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And looking around, there are soldiers around us, correct?
I just point up.
Yeah. You are not being forcefully guarded here in the courtyard. The parapets have loyal soldiers of House Einfasen accompanying them. You can see that there are a number of towers that have sort of torchlight waving on them. Some have these enormous, 10-foot diameter coal braziers just with fire sort of roaring up into the sunlit or the sunset skyline. There are also on the central keep some towers that have ballistae that are, some of the sort of crossbow held to these ballistae are wider than 20 feet wide, that are enormous, just, tree trunk throwing, weapons of war out and about.
Here's the thing. I can only keep this form up for a little while longer, so we need to at least get somewhere where I can be in some semblance of privacy relatively soon. And after that, I'll have to figure out a different plan.
Okay. Well, if you want to make a case to go, I just don't know how effective asking to go investigate those carriages will be right now, especially without Aranessa and Julien.
Should we go with her?
No.
She's okay.
She's fine. I think
And if she's not, I don't think we could stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least I can't.
Should we hide you in a room?
I guess.
Why don't we go take a tour of our apartments? We can give the hireling a break and then figure out what we want to do next.
Great.
Did Julien already take off?
I'll say Julien has been a little bit off the side currently, pulled from. Actually, probably wouldn't have gone up to since he gave you his belongings. He pulls a quill and a piece of parchment from it, and kind of over your shoulder, while you guys are having this conversation, is writing out a small letter that he's then rolling up. And by the time this conversation comes to an end, as he's finishing rolling it up to be delivered, he goes, "We should figure out which chambers are ours individually and make ourselves comfortable when we need to leave, which should be as early as we are interested in the morning. Aranessa and I should be able to emphasize the importance of us not staying here. I agree. You should hide in your chambers as soon as possible.
And you should perhaps consider that sending off a message while your benefactor doesn't trust you very much might be a bit of a bad look.
I think if I was not to be trusted, I wouldn't have given him this information to begin with. And if he was not to be trusted, we would already be dead. I do not have the time to allow myself to be so...
accommodating?
Frozen out of not wishing to make a choice.
Sure. Go ahead, send your little message.
Julien kind of cracks his neck and steps off into the keep, where he can probably quickly ascertain where the not aviary. What's the chamber for?
Eerie?
I think it is Eerie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it ever caught that bird.
The what? Your vulture.
I sent.
We should talk inside.
Yes.
Come along.
Yes, my lady.
As you step in, you guys head over to the Schneffen Keep, where you see that the doors are brought open, and Octus, this is totally familiar to you, although it is a strange thing to have no one offering to help you at all. Thaisha, this is not your first time staying, as a druid of the Circle of Ancients. You have experienced the hospitality of castles and hovels alike, so this is not unfamiliar to you. It's just specific. Vaelus, I don't know how many noble human castles you've been invited into.
I would say this may be one of the first.
Walking into it, you see, you've been wearing the same riding clothes for like days and days, and you see that there is a young Helvarian woman who says, "My lady, I would be more than happy to clean your boots or to otherwise mend anything that has been damaged on the road."
No, thank you.
You see that there is a steaming room off in a corner, and you see that there are some bath chambers here. As you enter in, the
Thaisha is actively stripping.
Yeah. Walking into this place, you see that there are this sort of entering chamber of this place once again has large glass that is sort of in that sort of patchwork way or mosaic way that stained glass is. There are like connections and running sort of throughout it, but it creates the image of these tall mountain peaks, kept sort of straight and narrow at the base, but then tall and get craggier towards the top. And all throughout, you see there are tapestries with images of snow and winter everywhere, which appears to be sort of the artistic. This is like the Winter's Keep. And as you see, as a Winter's Keep is less central and massive and mighty like the other ones are, but it is much warmer here for being a keep largely made of stone. And you begin to see why, which is set into the base of one of the mountainsides. There are a series of open sort of pipes coming out of the wall that hot water is pouring out of into these large grotto pools set into the side with some glacial boulders that have been set and placed in the room around it.
This is so cool. Does the water have like a scent? Like, is this from like a natural spring that maybe
yes,
sitting on?
It smells a little funky. It has that kind of sulfurous, natural hot water smell to it. Cool. And you can see that they're
jealous.
And you see that there are servants who have come along. There's a young woman who places a large wooden tray of towels and sets on a little sort of floating stone outcropping over the hot springs. These tall glass decanters in several bottles. She gestures to them and says, the green decanter and the pink are for hair, and this clear one is for your body.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. She
Do you have any wine?
Wine? Yes, we have some lovely Helvarian wine.
It will be amazing. Thank you so much.
She turns around and says, also, I believe there is wine aboard the Davinos caravan as well.
Oh.
I would love a nice bottle.
You will not offend me by preferring wine from Delmora. I prefer it.
If you can run us a couple of those bottles, we'll make sure a glass or two goes missing.
Why?
Oh, so you can have a glass of wine with
It is not for me to have.
You.
She turns around.
Oh my God. I forgot. These people, that's crazy.
Very, there's not much of a...
Straightforward.
Very, very straightforward, not much of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I'm going to start taking off. I'm going to pull up my skirts.
I have to leave.
Start...
You don't have to... Okay.
You don't have to leave. I'm going to start unlacing the top of my boots from my thighs. And I'm going to start taking off my boots.
I can't take off these clothes. I have to go.
You... Oh. Fair.
This is an illusion.
Alex, I'd like you to roll a d4 for me.
Oh, God.
I did a little bit like that.
We got excited by the spa.
Yeah. Spa day. Teleport out of clothing.
Hell yeah.
4. Great. The magic still feels strong for the time being. Do you guys start putting your boots back on, or are
I'll
you?
just go to my room, wherever that is, if I can find it.
Great.
Yeah.
Incredible. Octus, you walk up a staircase. This keep has probably more than a dozen bedchambers in it. Okay. So you really can take your pick.
Okay, I'll just holding Julian's bag. I don't know. I guess I'll keep it with me, and I just get into a room, and I let the magic fade once the door is closed, and just kind of, well, I don't even know what would happen if I got in a bath. Would I fill up with water?
Are you not watertight yet?
I don't know. We haven't tried it. And just summon Pin back into the room with me. Guess it's just you and me in here. Yeah. Everybody else gets to take a bath. I wonder if... I'm going to try and reach out. I know I don't actually have like a true connection to the vulture that I made, but just trying to get a sense if the magic is still active. To see if it still exists.
Give me an Arcana check.
14.
You sense... is this a concentration
It
base?
is not.
Not a concentration
No,
base.
it just exists until it ceases to exist.
What happens if you summon another one?
It will... that's a good point.
Take a look at that, and the answer depends on the answer to that question.
Creature... Disappears when it drops 0 hit points or when the spell ends. Which it doesn't say how long the duration is.
So you could summon another one.
I could summon another one, but...
In that case, I think on a 14, you don't know. Because you wouldn't feel anything break by summoning another one, and you wouldn't lose your concentration.
Yeah.
It was basically following this instruction to go hunt down this bird, and it is going to be off doing that for...
Ever.
Unless, does it say anything about how you can deliver other commands to it? Can you change the
It
command?
understands my verbal commands.
In that case,
You just summoned a stalker.
I just summoned a huge undead bird, and it now exists in the world.
This homing pigeon is in its own version of It Follows.
Yeah.
I don't know what I fucking did, man. I don't know what I fucking did. I'm way faster than this thing, but it doesn't need to eat. It doesn't need to sleep.
This is like the snail thing.
It shows up outside my nest.
Incredible. Julien, as you head off, you see Aranessa walking up with Lord Einfasen. Give me a history check with advantage. It's just a difficulty of 10.
First roll is a natural 19.
Let's go.
And a natural 20.
Julien, you've sent messages from this castle before. Like, Riesengirdle is a necessary stop on the main highway to Dolmakyar. You've been coming to this castle since you were a kid, right? And I think that you actually... It depends on the mood Julien's in, but I'll say on a nat 20... You actually don't need anyone's help to go send a message.
I don't ask for anyone's help. I send it immediately, knowing that Lady Aranessa's already mid-conversation with Lord Einfasen. So I will send that off, hoping to hear or see any response from the Golden Orchard.
As you start walking out of the courtyard, as you begin to walk out of the courtyard, you go ahead and give me perception, and you can do it with advantage because of that nat 20.
All right. Okay, that'd be 14.
One of the knights falls in behind you at a respectful distance, about 20 feet behind you. And as you begin to walk into the keep, keeps sort of in lockstep at that distance behind you as you begin going up into the keep. You observe on the first moment that you are not headed either to pursue Lady Aranessa or to follow your friends to Schneffenkeep. You see that the knight behind you says, my lord Davinos.
Yes?
I regret to ask, but it is the order of my lord Einfasen that, for your own safety, you remit your wanderings to the Schneffenkeep.
If that is the case, then I would greatly request that this message be sent to the Golden Orchard on the behalf of my Lady Aranessa and myself, so as to inquire as to the safety of our families. If you do not believe me, you are welcome to read this before sending it.
He takes the note from you and says, it will be delivered at once. You see that he walks off with it. Go ahead and give me an insight check, if you'd be so kind.
That's going to be a 12.
12, gotcha. You see that he turns and begins to walk off. He is not taking the most direct route to the aviary.
I'm going to follow behind him to see where he's going, preferably without him noticing my presence.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check.
That is going to be...
Is pass without trace still up?
Probably not at this point. 24.
Okay, you didn't need it.
Is it 22? Sorry.
22.
Oh,
now you know.
I know.
Got it.
You fall in pretty effortlessly behind him. And again, this is the exact kind of place that you've been sneaking around your whole life in castles like this. And again, one of the benefits of being unarmored in a castle filled with armor, the slightest movement, it is a extravagant show of wealth how many soldiers here are wearing plate armor. It's an unnecessary amount of soldiers are decked out in this extravagant full dress armor that even in the battalions of Royce soldiers, like for most Royce soldiers, for a lot of reasons, some cultural, some military, that level of armor is a liability. And over here, you kind of think it must be as well, but it's just done for show, right? There's incredible artistry put into all of it. So this guy is clanking down the hallway. You could be walking, you could be eating an apple and this guy wouldn't hear you, right? He's his own, he's like a guy traveling with a bunch of pots clanging around on him. So
just everyone's walking around like a one-man band.
Yeah, exactly. Taking off down the hallway, you see him walk into the central keep, and hiding behind a colonnade, you see that there's a spiral staircase. This is one of many spiral staircases within the central keep that are enormous to the point of, incredulity. This spiral staircase connects up one of the central corners of the keep and is about 20 feet wide, which means that the tower is 40-foot diameter, and it shoots up the side of the tower, these vaulting ceilings in this spiral staircase, hugging to the colonnade. And you see this one has the central column has this beautiful bas-relief of, Einfasen warriors, climbing up a mountainside, spiraling up the staircase with it. You look and see this guard approach a central sort of set of doors sort of narrow double doors. Like the doorway's only about 4 feet wide, but it's about 12 feet tall. And you see that they open up, beautiful renderings of some kind of like pine forest on the outside. As he knocks on it, so momentary pause, the door opens up and you get a little brief view of a set of rich gold and purple drapes behind it. This door must be like hidden behind some curtains in another room. But as the curtains move to the side, you see that one of the head ministers leans out to speak to this knight. And you can see past him a little glance of a fireplace, and you can hear Aranessa's voice in that room speaking to Lord Einfasen. As the soldier is standing there, you see that he's explaining something briefly. They're also speaking in Helvanig, like a local regional language. And you see that the minister holds out his hand. The note is passed off to the minister. The minister opens it, reads it, and folds it, retying it, and holds up a hand like this in a sort of gesture of wait, and does not return the note. Walks back inside, and the knight waits at the door as the door closes.
I wait to see if, kind of just keeping to the shadow as best I can, kind of arms crossed, cloak obscuring as much of myself as possible, and just wait as well.
You wait for a good... So the question I would ask is, what sort of patience does Julien have in this moment?
Huh. Yeah, how patient is Julien?
I think he gives it a good 30 minutes.
Great. You wait for 30 minutes watching this knight stand at the door, and nothing changes.
How far from where I stand is the Eyrie?
It's like it's not far. You could keep going up this. There's two different ways to get there. There's a staircase here. There's a more private way on a back parapet that actually just faces a chunk of mountainside that would also get you up to a place where if you wanted to be crazy and really avoid being seen, there's a place that you go on an outside keep that doesn't face any other buildings. It just faces, the cliff wall of the Ascendant Mountains. And there's parapet that is like a short 3-foot vertical jump to the next story that has the area on it.
Oh my god. We learned nothing from Greta. Greta, stay.
Let's go. Okay. So I will then skulk back down among the grounds to go towards the most indirect means to it, to at least send a letter if no one else is going to do it on my time.
Hell yeah. You get up there. The sun is barely a whisper over the western mountain tops. And there's a weird thing. It's not an ideal time to send a bird right now because they're going to want to, bed down or rest somewhere rather than flying at night. Do you attempt to go send one anyway in these last few minutes of sunlight?
Absolutely.
Hell yes. You walk in. I'm going to roll a luck roll in front of the board.
Let's go.
Let's go.
You just want, I think you just want a 12 or higher. That's a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Buff you.
You walk into the aviary, and you see that there is an old Helvarian man. He's got this he's almost completely bald, but has these two sort of puffs of gray hair that come out over the ears, go down into the mutton chops, into the mustache. So he's got the weird, Mobius loop of hair, just mustache around the head. And you see that he is walking along. He has a harness that has, it looks like an old desiccated tree attached to it that comes off his shoulders with a number of polished and varnished. It's like this. It's like they dried out and then varnished and lacquered a tree off his back that has a number of birds on it as he's walking around from place to place, going. And you can see he's like singing a little song. It's like. And just going along, petting birds, and he's like, "Hello, it is not to be scared. It is night time soon." And
it is not to be scared.
Singing these little songs. You see, he's moving along and saying, "First we put the doves away, and then we put the hunting birds." And you see, he looks up and says, "Oh, my lord, hello."
Good evening. I require your assistance. I must send a message very quickly of much importance to the Golden Orchard on behalf of Lady Ernest Royce.
Oh, well, it is of a late hour. Your bird, should it take wing now, wouldn't be able to fly no more than the lowlands before it would have to rest for the night. I would recommend sending it at first light, my lord.
If I send it now, will it at least take rest and then continue its journey at first light?
Well, yeah, of course. Many messages take more than a single day for the birds to reach it, but better and safer for it to sleep in its aviary, my lord.
If I leave you a message, and I look at him like closely in his eyes, can I trust you to send it first thing in the morning?
Yeah, of course. It is my profession as keeper of the aviary, my lord.
Looking around, as I realize I gave most of my materials back to Octus, are there any means to... If this is used often for sending messages and such, would there be any...
Do you wish to dictate a message, my lord?
Certainly.
1 minute. Let me light a candle.
Oh my God.
And he goes over to a small standing desk.
Absolutely not.
Why I love him.
He looks and says, do you have a preference on parchment type or ink?
Whatever is lightest and helps the buds to travel quickest.
They are all of an equivalent lightness.
Pick whatever's in front of you, please.
He takes a page out and says, very well, I am ready.
Maya Davinos, mother of House Davinos. Your son Julien requests confirmation of your safety. Yours and Alba. We will be on our way to the orchard soon enough. These are dark times for our family. And I ask that if you are safe, go somewhere far safer. Somewhere where you cannot be found by someone who is not myself. Let me know that you are safe, regardless.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
It's my best one.
You're so wise.
Oh, let's go.
Come on.
Natural 20.
Yeah. Let's go! Yes.
-1.
Don't say that.
The candlelight casts a long shadow behind you. But instead of beholding the shadow behind you, your mind wanders into memory. Long days on the road were so exhausting that your head would hit the pillow of these roadside inns traveling across the Dvalmar, and you would be so dehydrated, exhausted and tired that sleep would come for you quickly. Having had this day in the city without hard travel, I think you have the energy for your mind to wander back to the palazzo, to a hand appearing inside your father's face. The smell of death. You were strong enough to survive that blast, and everyone in that palace fell to the ground, dead. As you write this letter, you realize your mother will not have been able to know what has happened to her husband.
I never wish to tell her in person, so I do not include that within the letter.
You see the aviary keeper looks up and says, "Very well, my lord. Do you have a seal?"
A small Davinos seal on a bit of a wax, a rectangular bar. Keep it at the nearest candle that's there and able to press it.
He holds the candle up for you to create your seal, dripping the wax on the letter. As you do it, you see he turns around. His eyes water a little bit, looking behind you as he just goes, "Freya?" And he holds the candle up and he goes, "Oh, so sorry. Sorry, nothing." And puts the candle down, takes the missive from you and says, "To the Golden Orchard, yes? In Telmore?"
Yes.
"I will send it first thing in the morning, my lord."
I appreciate that. My hand relaxes from the hilt of my rapier beneath my cloak as I relax faintly. Let's go. And then head towards the recovered caravan to grab as many bottles of Davinos wine as I can and return to my chambers.
Are we still in the baths?
Yes, you are in the bath.
I have a question. Do you leave your veil on?
I do. So I, as I'm taking off my boots, I get completely naked, minus my veil. And so I put my hair up and then get into the tubs and just sit right in front of you.
Do you mind if I ask about the manner of your veil? You can say no.
I think I'm starting to work some shampoo through.
I like Bath so much. I live here now.
When Octus left, if he could have blushed, he would have.
You saw like left cheek on the way out. She did not care.
All of the sisters wear one. It is a mourning veil. It's so funny. When I first met you, I didn't realize who you were until everybody started treating you with reverence when we were on the road, and I realized that you are the Lloy family who created the weapons to kill the gods.
Just ours. The pariah blades were for Osgrel. And it was only after his falling and the realization that the rest of the Shapers so beloved their system that someone else, some other portion of those shaped by their deities would have to become the orcs. And we were no longer going to, that they took up arms against their Shapers as well. I believe your deity fell to the last arrow, yes?
Yes.
I don't know if my family had any part in the shaping of that, beyond the inspiration to free themselves from.
I don't fault you in any way. I just thought it was funny.
Those were the workings of my grandparents. My path has been made easier for the work that my family did, but my work comes now.
Wow. What an honor.
I don't know if it's honor. I think what they did was honorable and just. And I am proud of my family and my people beyond what I can say. But I don't think that honor specifically is mine. I hope to find my own, though.
I think you will.
What are you searching for? You have the stone.
I've been searching for an answer.
And
I feel like I found a thread. Something I've been trying to find and figure out for a while. And I think it all sits with Octus.
I see the way you look at him.
He's a kid.
Aren't we all compared to you? And I don't mean that with any amount of disrespect.
You don't see it, but there's a slight smile under the veil. I still feel very young. But time has gotten much slower. Well,
I don't want to presume what your continued presence near Octus with the stone may be. I have suspicions and fears. I hope they are unfounded. But until any point at which I think your questions become dangerous and we have to have a different conversation, I hope you know I will help you however I can.
I saw you stand in front of a blade for someone that you care about. I know what you say is true. I stand up and walk out.
Do a little hair tap. It's very cute.
This is very.
Wiggle my ass like.
I love
Shake the water off.
How is she walking in slow milk and all of
Thaisha, you stay here. I mean, you will not. You know the road that lies to the east from here. These are some of the last creature comforts you will have if your journey takes you farther east.
I think Thaisha's at the point where she's like set up her little like camp here in the bath, and she's just writing out little notes that she's going to try to have sent off within the city and things she'll have sent to the aviary later.
Yeah.
But she's just doing all the work of organizing and living her little life, but from inside the tub. Just a big green raisin.
I think at a certain point of being in the room while this, however long has happened, eventually Octus starts to get anxious, surprising no one, and sends Pin with his vision, with himself in the vision of Pin downstairs to kind of like wait outside the bath house area just to kind of like make sure nothing went wrong. but not going inside very specifically.
Go ahead and give me a stealth check for Pin.
Great.
Where are your stats, little guy? There it is.
Do you bathe Pin? Can I bring
You just need some scrubbies.
Just like a little bit.
Oh.
Sounds like a husky.
21.
Pin can go to the bath and find Thaisha bathing without Vaelus here.
Right. Are you coming back to the room?
Yes.
So would they have run into
Yes,
each
I think
other?
Pin runs into Vaelus, yeah.
Okay.
Does Pin stay with Vaelus or does Pin continue?
I assume... Did you get redressed?
No.
Yeah!
You run...
I have a towel.
Yeah.
And I am coming up the stairs.
You run
or
in-
coming to the room.
Pin looks at you and just goes, and just puts his head down in a very completely un-fox-like mannerism. Just like stops looking at you and just sits in front of you.
I just keep walking to the room.
Did you knock on my door?
Wait, do we have multiple rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh!
There is a door that is closed. I assume the other doors are open. If
No.
one's in there.
I'm gonna go in my own room and change.
Okay.
Great.
I don't know why I assumed we were all staying in the same room.
I wouldn't have been able to hear you
house.
anyway.
There are some very fine clothes that are set out here in this place. There are several gowns, none of which are fitted to you, but you do see that there are also some fine, just like a light white shirt, some gowns, like nightgowns and things like that have been laid out in here.
I just look for something that is the most comfortable and easiest to move around in.
You find it.
And I will go across to where I think Octus's room is.
You find it.
While doing that, Pin looks in, sees you.
Mid-wash day.
Yeah, sees her in the bathtub, just like less concerning when it's you, and just lets Pin stay there, kind of like inside the door, but takes his vision out of Pin and just telepathically is like, if anything happens, come and let me know.
Cool.
And that hears the knock at the door and freezes. Hello?
It's Vaelus.
Oh, thank God.
And goes and opens the door and just goes,
You gotta come inside. I can't go out there.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just come in. Hi.
Hi. How are you feeling?
Fine. I would have loved to have taken a bath, but I don't. I'm a little concerned about what a bunch of hot water will do to me.
Oh.
I think I'll be fine. We did seal me up. But I don't want to, a corpse is left in water, it gets all I don't know if my body works like that.
A corpse left in water does what?
It bloats.
I don't know what. Okay.
Gets all disgusting. You never seen a corpse left in a river?
I have, but you're different. I don't know.
Look, I don't know. It's fine. Did you need something?
No, I just was making sure that you were all right. I don't know why I knocked on your door.
Okay. I'm as fine as I can be, I guess. I just have to stay in here. I'm a little worried about what happens when they ask where the guy you hired went, or everyone hired went.
Can you do it again?
I can. Only a couple more times, though, before I sleep.
Do you need to sleep to be able to do these things
It's
anymore?
more of just I only have... I'm not that good yet. I only have so much energy, to put into spells. It takes a lot out of you to cast too many in a day.
Do I have the stone? I would imagine I have the stone on my
You do?
my person. I'm gonna take it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put this in your chest.
Okay, I appreciate you saying that. I just don't. It's a little dramatic.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
It's fine. No, I just. You can have it out. It's
It's fine.
No,
It's
no,
your thing.
I don't want to traumatize you.
You're not.
You said you pulled it out?
Yeah, when I was... From what I remember, when I was in transition to going to the other side, I saw Thaisha, and she yelled at me. And then I felt something cold and heavy in my chest. I pulled it out. And then I don't really remember what happened after that. It's all flashes and jumbled around. I don't know what any of this means.
I don't either. And I've always wondered what this could do.
You don't know what it's for?
I mean, I know a little bit, but I've never seen it in action.
I mean, I don't even know if that's what that thing does. I just have a weird... I don't know, there's something, I think I'm connected to it now.
How did you bring your fox back to life?
Well, I don't... You know, this whole thing of being, you know, at the Penteveral and everything is kind of new. We don't really know fully what we're experimenting. So I was experimenting and guessing, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I don't really know how I did it. Like earlier, I sent the vulture to try and, I said, catch the carrier pigeon. That thing doesn't act like Pin. It's dangerous. It's a monstrosity. It listens to what I say. Doesn't act like him.
But you can see through Pin's eyes.
Well, that is the result of an adaptation to the spell. And once I created Pin, I kind of shoved him into becoming what is known as a familiar.
You're so young and your brain is quite impressive.
Well, when you grow up being told that you can't do anything, you find ways to try and emulate what everybody told you couldn't do. You know? You've seen my family. They all just know that. They can do it.
You seem so different from your family.
Well, that's what happens when no one talks to you your whole life. You know, I grew up in the house. I had a tutor. But I only saw my family during, like, events and things I had to be present for. I barely talked to my brothers and sisters. Everybody was very important and had roles and power, and they birthed an 8th kid who didn't know how to do anything.
But you know how to do everything.
Well, it's because of Azune. He's the one who got me out of the house. He came by, you know, he would drift in circles and be in noble houses, and he saw me, and he was around, and then Thimble and I became friends because she was a kid and I was a kid. And then I met him, and he saw something that I could do, and he brought me a spell book. Some notes that someone also doing wizardry had written down. Asked me to see if I could figure it out. And I did.
What was it?
It was just some basic spells. It was like little cantrips and things. He makes little like sparks in his hands, things like that. But he figured out that I could figure it out. And so he convinced my family to send me the Penteveral when I was 15.
Do you know what he wanted with the stone?
No, he never talked to me about it, and I had not talked to Pin in a long time. Not Pin, sorry, Thimble.
It's okay.
I hadn't talked to her in years by the time I saw her again.
I said something to you when we first met that I didn't mean. Or you took it the wrong way. It's not your fault. You said you were a member of the Sisters of Salandri. And I said I don't know who that is.
I remember that.
I know who Salandri is. I just didn't know who your sisterhood was. I know every single god. I know all about them. I just don't know your specific sisterhood. So I don't know, I was
It's okay.
freaking out about it because I was like, oh, she took it wrong and I don't know how to tell her that anyway, it doesn't matter.
That's really fine. I am a sister to a dead god. I don't take offense to the things people say anymore.
I mean, I'm dead, so I can't really. It's the same thing. Sorry you saw my stomach.
That's okay. I'll let you have some
Yeah, okay.
time alone. Bye.
Bye.
I leave. Still in 800 years, I haven't figured out how to say hellos or goodbyes to people.
You just hang up the phone after a phone call.
Anyway.
The hell was that?
As you leave, either of you can give me perception or insight, depending on if you're a little bit more physical or a little bit more emotional in this moment.
It's gonna be 14 perception.
20 insight.
On a 14 perception, looking at the Stone of Night Song in Vaelus's hands, that stone, it's very interesting. You felt that in a moment where there was so much catastrophic, devastating violence that there can't really be said. You've literally never put your hands on it. On a 14 perception, you look at the heft of it and the carving of it, and I think that you wonder if that is made of stone. On a 20 insight, Vaelus, just leaving that room in that moment, holding the Stone of Night Song, its heft, its warmth, you've held it many times before. You know that it was a sacred artifact of your goddess, but you are not, Sisters of Salandri are not researchers or archivists, they're warriors. And so you've never necessarily had deep curiosity about the story of the Stone of Night Song. It's enough to know that it's sacred. It's not your place to ask why it might be sacred or what it might mean. Everything of the goddesses means something. Someone could have told you that a single dead leaf of a fallen tree had been held once by her hand, and it would have been sacred to you. But you certainly don't know its story. And I think on a 20 insight, you walk out of there saying, the joking thought that Vaelus has to herself, which is she's never really learned how to say hello or goodbye. And you hold this thing that belonged to your goddess, and you wonder how truthful it is that you've never learned to say goodbye.
Yeah.
I think seeing Vaelus wearing just clothes that she grabbed from here gives him an idea of being like, oh, I don't have to wear these. These look like I'm a poster boy for my family. And he changes into just like generic clothing and then puts the rest of his clothes in his pack.
Hell yeah.
Brennan, I know I'm not a ranger,
but I have to believe that Bath is my favorite terrain. What do I have to do to wrestle Pin to clean him? He smells like cabbage farts and cured meat.
I do not think it is challenging for you to bathe Pin.
And I'm also not in Pin right now, so
Yeah.
Pin knows you is just like.
You clean this little dead fox. And I think as you do, you hear the clinking of someone carrying multiple wine bottles into the keep. Julien, you make your way into the Schneffen keep. Entering this place, the Davinos wine is well kept at this high altitude. It's very cool. It's not been kept in the hot sun. And you are able to enter the keep and go where you will.
I think Julien beelines to his chamber. Probably closes the door haphazardly, not even thinking much at this point. His mind is elsewhere. Sets the cluster on the ground next to where the entranceway is and pulls one cork out, takes a heavy drink. Sits on the edge of his bed, throws his father's gauntlet onto the nearby desk, and just looks at it as he slowly drinks this bottle before he finally lets the emotion wash over him and then tumbles into a sob.
As you become racked with sobs in this moment, I would ask, the thing that's been fixed in your mind for the days of travel, it's very easy to stay away from emotion while there's a task. You've had a heady mix of both duty and obligation, and also panic. Fear is a really powerful antidote to grief. Your very lives hung in the balance, and now there appears to be a moment of safety. That image of your father's gruesome death, how close it was to being your death, those shades reaching out, the leering look on their face. They seemed so frightened of Vaelus and so hungry for you. But those are things that trigger revulsion, fear, panic. What is the thing that finally lets Julien be touched by sorrow?
I think being robbed of the opportunity to make his father proud a second time. To let him leave this world with that being their final day together. And the fact that probably years of difficult, conflicting perspective have prevented him from sharing the parts of their relationship that he appreciated before he was robbed of the opportunity. And I think all of that hits him at once.
There's holding this bottle of wine. You look at it, it's poured You're not. You're drinking it straight from the bottle. But as some falls, you see it stains, and this is a Rasputin red. And I think in that moment, you look out and remember the last time you saw this exact vintage. And your father is looking at you. And you are, I think, maybe like 13 or 14 years old. And he's looking at you and being like, Julien, this is, you don't have to prove this to me, my son. There is the melee. You can sign up for the dueling lists. The melee, I'm trying to think how to say this. There are going to be hedge knights here who are going to look at your face, and they are going to see that you are the eldest son of House Davinos, and they are going to see a bright fortune for themselves, taking it's a wooden sword, they'll take your head off your shoulders. You don't have to prove this. I'm very proud of your ambition, but this is not a advisable thing to do. You should sign up for the dueling list where you will be fighting other noble sons.
I've not come here for advisement from you, Father. I have come here to prove this to myself. Right? I know who you are, but I have not had the opportunity to show people to fear my capability and respect my capability, not because of my name, but because of what I can do.
I just heard your voice break a little bit on capability. He looks over. Your mother, Maya, is looking at him, and you see that she says, Daymond, do this. Do not let our son... You see he looks at you and says, I am not always going to be around to give you advice. And I am not, I think, the best teacher of lessons. I think sometimes life has a way of teaching us its most important lessons. So, have at it, my son. You see Maya goes, Daymond, I am not going to, and you see...
Mother, you heard him?
What did you say?
It's too late.
You see that she says, where does one sign up for this melee?
Yeah!
And Matt, I'll allow you to tell me how that melee went. What happened on that day?
I think once he had managed to convince his father to allow it, he requested him to prepare him as best as possible, looking up to him immensely and wanting to not say that he wanted to make him proud, because he does want to do it for himself. But he does want to make his father proud as well. It's a hard shadow to live in. So that day, he makes a name for himself, certainly. I wouldn't say the final victor. I'd say probably crumpled out under the experience of some elder classmen. Maybe a bit of insecurity that he still held under the expectations of his family's name. And so I think at the end of it all, both bruised of body and bruised of ego, though what he did was a great feat, it wasn't as much as he wanted, and he's a bit ashamed.
Standing on the dais, finishing third in the melee, that day, your father took you to a sandy arena in the face. You were way, way out elsewhere. You'd traveled to the farthest reaches of the Sundered Houses. This was a place that House Royce had some holdings in order to perform sorceress fey magic. This is the year before the gates to Fairy closed, and you see him standing with you. This is in Azir, far to the west, northwest of Kahad, and you can see it's a grand tournament held by the guilds of Azir, and you can see that he was looking out and says, "We're going to throw out everything you've learned from your dueling instructors. Get rid of all of it." He holds the rapier. He says, this is not your weapon. And he sort of pats you hard on the chest. So you said, "That's your weapon. Your body is always your weapon. If this can help that win, great. If this can," and he points to your boot and kicks your leg out so your stance widens. "If that can," and you see he holds up your chin. "If these can, yes." He says, "If you get knocked to the ground, we're fighting in his ear." And he holds up some sand and says, "This in the eyes every time." And he goes through and he says, "Listen, if you throw sand in a tournament, the crowd will boo. And if you win, they will boo harder. And you will walk away a booed and living man." And he just walks through it all with you. Standing there at the dais, in that third place, your purse, it's 50 gold for first place, 50 silver for second, and 50 copper for third. And you look up, your face is swollen, one of your back teeth is chipped, and as they say, "Third place winner, a purse of 50 copper, Sir Julien Davinos." You look up into the stands as this purse is held aloft, and you see that there are boos coming out because of all the dirty tricks you played and grabbing people's hair, elbowing to the face. You look out, spraying red wine, a Rasputin red. There is one voice in the crowd cheering. "That's my son! Third place! Open the wine! Open the wine!" He looks out, he says, Look up. Look at first place."
And your mother. Fought with one leather sandal.
You look down, his eye completely sealed with blood coursing into it from a cut brow from where the basket hilt of your rapier cut his eyebrow open, is a 19-year-old. You are about to turn 13. Your father, spraying this wine out over the stands, looks out and says, "The numbers, no." He points to your heart. You see, he says, "Always a greater battle to fight. Always we strive for more." You see that your father in the stands goes out, and you see that he, sort of walking out as the crowd gathers around, helps you off the dais, sees that you're badly hurt. You see he leans into the sort of sand, picks something up, looking around and says, "Can we please a healer for my son?" Pats you on the back and looks down and has a chunk of your own tooth there. And you see he says, "I would like a sword forged for my son. Please set that into the pommel." And puts an arm around you as you're hobbling off. And you see he pulls his cheek back over with a sort of mustache bristling over it, and shows you a split tooth in the back. And he says, "It's a good thing you've done this day, my son." And you return the rapier at your side. You see there is amber set into the hilt, jewels, but in a place that it's not showy, but right under the hilt, there is a little tooth capped under one of the gems. And you see the wine staining underneath you. You were very young then. And there weren't that many days after that one where your father had kind words to say. Thaisha, as you emerge from the bath, where do you head, if anywhere?
I think if I can flag a servant to hand off the missives that I'd like sent. One back to Dolmakyar to Hal, one to Dolranya to my grandmother, and then a couple throughout the city. Some of it important and some of it just busy work. I'm trying to prove a point that, like, keeping me pinned here will be more work than it's worth. Mm-hmm. I should.
So you want to go to the aviary to write some letters?
No, I'm happy to stay in these quarters and run servants ragged. Gotcha. Because I'm supposed to stay in here, which means everyone gets to do this for me, and it's going to be quite tedious.
Great. As you call up the first, you get up to your quarters, you're writing some missives, the doors open, and there's a knock at your door.
Octus?
Thaisha, it's Aranessa.
Oh, and I shouldn't have said Octus. Yeah, come in.
She steps inside.
I'm gonna die again.
And she says, the Lord Einfasen would like to see you.
What? Sure, of course. Why? Why?
He wished to speak with you as a representative of the Circle of Ancients.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure the door is shut and just try to keep low tones. Nessa, how did it go? What do you need from me?
We spoke a great deal. Julien's decision was, I think, a prudent one in this instance to... Otto's a hard man to read.
Sure, but we don't have to be nice about Julien's decision-making in close quarters.
The Taconis work fast, and they're not the most agile liars. So it's good that we interrupted a spread of their version of events. Did you know that there was a grand gala planned at the Palazzo Davinos a night or two ago?
That's right.
And that there was a message left announcing that House Royce had found a way to return to Fairy.
What? Who? Okay. I'm assuming you didn't send that.
No. What I think is interesting is I call it an instinct, believe that Lord Einfasen doesn't believe that. And the level of confusion and disgust he had at the insinuation that that had happened leads me to believe that it was not a lie he had crafted. Does that make sense?
From what little I know of them, I would trust anyone else in our group to lie before I would trust any Einfasen. They don't need to. It is not a skill they've developed.
And yet, they are not without subtlety. It is simply that they don't... My mother had an opinion of the Einfasen that she talked about wearing a velvet glove over an iron fist versus a gauntlet. And she said to the Einfasen that when your fist is made of stone, you don't wear a gauntlet at all. I don't think they play a different game than us. I just don't think that they varnish it, which means that there can be elements of what they're trying to do that are moving beyond sight. But rather than lie, they just tend to omit.
Fair. Do you think they generated that message?
No.
But who then, in your circle, would generate a message that outlandish that they might try to believe?
When would you have cause to make an outlandish lie? When would you lie so, for lack of a better word, ostentatiously?
When there's no way it can be countermanded.
Certainly.
If all of you were wiped out, as they intended to do, then you can say anything and be the only voice in the room. But it would have had to come from a Davinos or a Royce. No?
What, the message in the palazzo?
Yes.
If it existed at all. If, in other words, either the message sent to the Einfasen was a lie, but if that actually occurred in Dol Makyar.
Interesting.
Then, if that actually occurred in Dol Makyar, there'd be many, many different ways to do it. We're not the only house gifted of illusion, and the power of illusion is not put past even non-sundered houses. There are wizards of the Pentemporal, it would not be altogether that difficult to give the illusion that something miraculous had happened instead of a nightmare. My question to you is this. Me and Julien are not supposed to be alive. Octus was not supposed to be at the Palazzo Davinos. An elven warrior of a sisterhood of traveling priestesses, nor indeed a druid of the Old Path, were not supposed to be present. When did their plan go wrong? What were they trying to do and what happened instead?
Well, I guess I didn't consider that whatever happened to Octus was an act of opportunity, but the assault was always meant for you.
But they didn't seem that concerned. They didn't come for me. I was in the room with Octus, and they came for him. I was supposed to die there, but I was a T they were happy to leave uncrossed. Primus killed Daymond first.
Yeah. Why not you?
Why were they so certain I was going to die in that castle, such that Primus didn't even stay put to see the job done? A little insulted.
I would be more than a little insulted.
I don't want to keep Lord Einfasen waiting.
Oh, sure.
Have you seen Julien?
I haven't, actually. Sorry. Do you want me to go?
I wouldn't keep the Lord waiting. All I know is that the story's being told in our absence, and something's going on with the Einfasen I can't put my fingers on. We have his protection, and it's certainly, he made a point several times that it's not safe for us to travel.
He's stalling.
I would love if you could find out why. But again, I don't want to put you in any danger.
No, it's okay. You're my sister. We get in danger for family.
She bursts into tears.
Oh, God, no. Oh, come here, come here.
I don't I don't have anyone.
You've always had me.
I chose my family over my... I regret it.
No.
I would have made more difference as a commoner. I would have done more. I regret it. I am very proud to be your sister.
I love you.
I love you. Those boys were a lot better with us, and if I had... Do you think he'd still be alive if I had stayed with him?
We can play this game all day long. But your husband was trouble. He probably would have found a way to die faster because he would have been so happy he would have made terrible choices.
I don't even know. Maybe my cousins are all dead. I worry for my people. I worry for Telmora, but things have been... I don't even know how much Telmora relies on me anymore. After my mother passed,
Nessa. And I'm gonna grab her by the face. Bite size. Little chunks. This is a lot, and it's not gonna go away. And you trying to think through every permutation of the puzzle of what's happening right now, you can't do it, and it's not because you're one of the most brilliant people I have ever known. But you just gotta take a break. I'll get more information. We will figure it out. You have me and all of us, and it will be okay.
I love you.
I love you. And give her a kiss on the forehead.
Puts her...
Take a bath. There's wine down there.
Oh, wine.
Yeah.
She leaves, and there's a servant waiting to take you to Lord Einfasen if you so wish.
Yeah.
Venturing out, the servant takes you to the central keep, into a vast drawing room. You look out through the tall windows that you know would see the summits of the Gavorsi Mountains. You instead look through the stars and see Illumi's blanket, the vast, sparkling planetary rings that surround the world of Ahriman, stretching off into the night sky.
If I can, by the way, I want to keep Pin on me, but doing my best to shield, like kind of brushing the fur over his eyes so it's not very obvious that the eyes are buttons.
I love it. You're brushing him. The Lord Einfasen stands up looking actually a little tired.
My lord, thank you for the ample accommodations.
Mistress of the old path, you are a lady of wisdom and walk through the world as a cousin of all living things. I'm here to speak honestly with you. A lady of House Royce is telling me that House Taconis has slaughtered her kin.
Yes.
And I have just received word from House Taconis that the Lord Primus Taconis' son was killed by servants of the Royce family. I am left at a quandary, and given that all involved are my allies, I must protect and honor and yet not permit to leave any who are involved in this affair until such questions can be resolved. You are traveling in the company of the Lady Royce.
I am.
I cannot permit her to leave. However, I must make very clear that no such restrictions are placed on you, and that the utmost respect is paid to your circle and its sacred and important work here in Riesengürtel and beyond. I needed this to be clear to you in case word were to reach you secondhand.
I appreciate the pains you've taken to make that clear. I would never assume such malfeasance on your end, but I appreciate you. What can I answer?
The goings-on between House Royce and House Draconis. Does the Circle of Ancients have any official stance on this matter that I should be made aware of?
We do not. The Circle of Ancients, especially the greater presence that was in Dol Makyar before, pulled back and now finds themselves in Dol Rania. Our purview is a much wider scope than the politicking of your families, which we happily leave you to.
That was my only question. Thank you for your time. And as he turns to other business...
Can I insight check him?
Give me an insight.
This motherfucker. All right. 19.
On a 19, you gave him an answer he was looking for. And that's where we'll throw a break.
NordVPN is more than just a VPN. It's a cybersecurity pack that gives millions of internet users daily confidence on every device for a safer digital life today. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
The Luxon beacon. It's an old religious relic. This beacon is a weapon.
Some kind of arcane weapon has crossed our border. War is coming, and you're our only hope of stopping it.
You got the wrong people.
We've got a homeless wizard, an inebriated goblin,
Bottoms up!
a shipwrecked sailor, a cocky ringmaster, a temperamental monk, and chaos incarnate.
Do you want to be my bitch? Face it, we're nobodies. That's what makes you so dangerous. They'll never see you coming.
Time to put on a show!
Did you actually think you could escape your past?
Shared purpose, shared pain, but mostly shared strength.
What do we do?
What we do best. Make terrible choices.
I'm out.
This group is fucking wild.
We are the Mighty Nine.
But there's only 6 of you.
Yes, but 6 and 9 go so well together.
Hello, we of Viva La Dirt League. You might recognize us from our show Epic NBC Man.
Die, mother! I see fishing in it.
It's finished. Starting a brand new Daggerheart campaign called Azune, coming first and uncensored to Beacon every Tuesday.
You nerd. Come on, let's go. Greg will remember this.
I'm going to mark a stress to hit an additional target within range.
You're going to land on one of these guys.
Are you going to hit one of us?
Yeah.
Now we're bringing our characters and the world of Azune into Daggerheart to instill chaos and make some questionable decisions.
You can check it out on Critical Role streaming platform Beacon, and the first few episodes are out right now.
See you there. Fire to the dickheads, murder indiscriminately!
And we're going to play Daggerhat.
It's a new system made by Darrington Press and Critical Role.
I'm gonna throw my hammer at them! What have you been doing?
God damn it!
Hey there, it's Laura Bailey with all my friends to show off what you can nab in the Critical Role shop. You know what we say, take a chance, roll the dice. What if I just filled my entire room with these? Make a hell of a fashion statement with this baby right here.
If anyone asks, this was a necessary expense.
I may actually smile when this ships.
Need more dice? These are nice.
Yep, that's definitely captain-worthy.
All these cool things and so much more. Check it all out at the Critical Role shop.
Welcome to Weird Kids. I have never related so much to a character than I do Bilbo Baggins.
A little more Gandalf-y.
Yeah, you're more Gandalf-y. You need your party.
Parties are great, although people are exhausting. We were about to die a salute.
That is spicy.
Oh God, why did I put another one in my mouth?
She's cursed.
I remember that forever on some level.
Sorry.
Become a Beacon member for exclusive shows, lore drops, ad-free podcasts, early access to event tickets, a members-only Discord with cast chat, 10% off merchandise, and much, much more.
Hello. Wow. Welcome back. Welcome back to tonight's episode of Critical Role. Last we left off in the Schneffenkeep of the castle of House Einfasen. Schneffenkeep. Schneffenkeep.
What's the name of that castle again?
The
Klippenblick.
Klippenblick.
I love it here. Every new word is like a new IKEA furniture I want to build.
I knew Klippenblick lamp is so.
Oh my god, it's so good.
What state is Julien in when Aranessa knocks on his door?
Oh boy. He is halfway through the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not destroyed, but he's certainly not sober.
Mm-hmm.
His face is a mess. And then just hearing the knocking originally, he sobers up 5%, sets the bottle aside, hides the gauntlet, and immediately goes to wiping his face before pausing and then... Who is it?
Julien, it's me.
Just a moment. Opens the door.
She looks in. I didn't mean to disturb you, Julien. I just wanted to check in on you. How did it fare with the letter?
I have a redundancy in place, as it seemed that their paranoia was sufficient to see my initial missive intercepted. So, at the very least, the hope is some sort of information will make its way to our estates.
Our safety cannot be guaranteed outside the walls of the castle, and so Lord Einfasen is hoping that we stay. Has he made any motion about our men-at-arms, who I believe are supposed to be being released from being held at this moment?
I have not seen them released, no. I assume that was part of your discussion. My lady, you seem concerned. How safe do you feel within these walls?
If the Einfasen had come to the Golden Orchard, let's say young Ingrid, in the company of a druid of the old path and an elven warrior, and I probably would have commanded that she not leave on her own. So there is some sense in us not being safe to leave. However, this city does have soldiers of ours and servants who have been arrested, so we could be allowed to leave with our own guard.
Perhaps if we make such a request for the morning to be on our way to be with our hopefully surviving families, that could be understood, and a means of getting our individuals and materials outside of their courtyard. What do you wish to do?
Something's not right. The Einfasen were not behind this. But there's a way they're moving. A way the whole world has been moving. The way everyone looks at us. There's that thing behind their eyes. It's pity. I don't think there's a more dangerous feeling in the world.
I'm very familiar with it. Well, If you do not feel safe, then perhaps we begin to discuss alternative ways of spending this evening. Where you go, I go. And where Octus goes, I imagine we also go.
If it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I would like to also knock on the door of Julian's room, which I can hear talking, as I've been looking to return a bag that I am in charge of.
Aranessa looks over at you. Who is it?
It's me.
It's your room, Julien.
Pull the door open and grab you and pull you, close it from behind.
Sorry, your bag.
Thank you.
Welcome. That's it. I just wanted to... What's going on?
No, stay but a moment.
We're discussing how safe we feel here at Castle Trippenblick.
Not at all.
Safer than a worst case scenario, but Octus, I don't think you're very safe here.
No. I'm not.
It all just depends on there are explanations for the Lord Einfasen's behavior that are innocent.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we spoke of was him asking if the Taconis would tell the same version of the story, as they are both his allies,
right.
The Royce and the Taconis.
Are they... Has he heard word from my family?
My understanding is that yes, he has.
Indeed.
And I'm guessing that the story does not match up.
No.
Right.
It turns out that we have absconded to Ferry.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
It would have been.
Incredible.
Well then, at the very least, I think a very upfront request to be on our way towards our intended destinations, and their reaction to such a request would be very telling.
I agree.
Yeah, I would like to not be here.
Octus, it is late and we do need sleep, but would you be able to gather... I think we should speak with Thaisha and with our companions, such as she is, Vaelus.
Right. 1 second. And I briefly go into Pin's vision, knowing that Pin is staying with you. Where are you? Are you still meeting with?
Would this have been enough time for me to... That was a very brief conversation.
Brief conversation, yeah.
If we're walking back, then I'm petting and cooing into Pin's ear, like, it's time to get the fuck out of here. We have places to go.
Jump back in my body. Thaisha is currently holding Pin and also wants to leave.
One moment. See, Aranessa steps out, walks down the hallway, and knocks on Vaelus's door.
Vaelus is mending her own clothes and also writing a letter. And I will go to open the door.
Hello. Could we borrow you for a minute to speak of things yet to come?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think calls you in Julian's quarters that smells sort of richly of wine. The Lady Aranessa sits, you're sort of like seated. One of you has a chair at a small writing desk. The other are at like the small bench at the foot of the bed. You see that she looks out and says, our Lord Einfasen is either waiting to get more information and keeping us here because we are perhaps fugitives from some betrayal of our own or what have you. I don't see the chambers flooding with our released servants or men-at-arms, which could have been something that would have happened by now. However, the explanations are either the paranoia of the Einfasen or something more sinister. We just don't know. And I would love to know.
Yeah.
I would love to know how much danger we are in here. I would love to know if perhaps it's a wasted effort to discover how much danger we're in, if we should instead just leave. And knowing that the Taconis have fabricated a lie that the House of Royce and its vassals have left for Ferry, something that will be disprovable. I will ask you, Octus, is it in the style or manner of your family to commit themselves to such an outrageous and disprovable lie?
Well, depending on what the actual exact words of the lie were, I would say they would only commit themselves to a outlandish thing if they felt that there was no way anyone would either go looking or they feel like everyone's too scared to ask questions.
And there's no way it could possibly be true?
I don't know what the exact phrasing was. Obviously, you didn't go to Ferry. You're standing here.
Do we know where our horses were kept?
They have been stabled.
Perhaps we leave a letter with the last bit of our intent and our emphatically given perspective across all of this. Then before more can be discovered of our intent, we abscond into the evening and continue on our path.
Your message will be sent tomorrow morning.
I guess we shall see. But it will not matter if we are being held.
Did they say anything else about what's going on back in Dolmakyar?
No. Another reason people lie outlandishly from time to time is urgency. If they don't have time to think of something better.
Right.
Do you know or have any inkling, and I ask this also of Thaisha and Vaelus, for both of you are connected.
Am I here now?
Yes,
Okay,
you're
cool.
right here. Yeah. She ushers you into the room as well. The events that occurred at the Palazzo Davinos were violent, frightening, nightmarish. My mind was focused on nothing more than survival. However, a relic of your people centered in the machinations of the Taconis, and Thaisha, I believe you saw beyond the threshold of this world.
I did.
It is obvious for the mundane fact that we all escaped with our lives that things did not go to plan according to House Taconis.
No.
But why do I feel like I I don't know what we disrupted.
I don't either. I didn't see anything. I mean, I was in the room with you until I was, so I didn't see what happened to the rest of the house. It's, from my perspective, everything that happened was very much against me, but they didn't. Ethrend was in the room and he didn't try and kill you.
He walked away.
Yeah.
He left the Lady of a Sundered House and walked away to let his ghouls finish the job.
Which is not necessarily unheard of, but if you were the target, he wouldn't have done that. But why, as a byproduct, try and destroy a house? If that's the case, if I'm the target, why?
What was he trying to do to you? Do you know?
He said that the name should have been enough. And then I should have accepted what I was given. But I don't know, he just killed me. That was what I remember. He put a silence bubble in the room, stopped me from casting any of my spells, garroted me to a table, and split me open. That is what happened, and that is the last thing I remember. Until I woke up.
Pardon me for... I didn't want to press you on this, especially so soon. But if he was just there to kill you, why the stone? Why did he have your heart when you were leaving?
I don't know. I don't know why he took it. And I don't know what they're doing with it, because it obviously didn't come back with me.
I don't understand why you weren't killed.
Neither do I.
Neither do I.
I'm gonna insight check Aranessa.
Fuck! No!
Dog shit.
She looks at you. Thiazi had been back in Dolmakyar for less than a week before his arrest. He came from the Mornvale, taking the Stone of Nightsong from you. The stone was in Dolmakyar for less than a month.
Did we ever figure out why they went to get it?
No.
Did
Thimble know?
And I know that it is Julien's theory that the destruction of the Palazzo Davinos, of many of our bannermen and servants, courtiers, was simply a byproduct of their coming for you, Octus. And yet, what did Primus declare by the fountain? I didn't hear it when I was upstairs, but you have said that he spoke the names of our houses aloud.
Yes. Yeah. Trying to recall exactly what he said.
He said, tonight the houses of Royce and Davinos fall.
Fall, yeah.
I don't know why they would have accepted this job, but did my family hire Thiazi under false pretenses to steal the stone? To have a way to obtain it that didn't lead back to them, and then they had him arrested and killed to cover their tracks?
Does he seem like the type of person that would work with your family?
I don't know. I didn't know him that well. I knew Thimble better.
But you knew him well enough to go with his sister-in-law to Venatus to reclaim that
Honestly, I didn't know you were his sister-in-law until after. I took a job. I was way over my head, and Thaisha took the same job in order to help me. I didn't know who she was till after. It's completely coincidental that I hooked up with the Ozzy's sister-in-law.
Is it a coincidence that they attacked our family simply because we had taken you and you were in our home and that's why they attacked?
I don't know. That's what I assumed.
Now, the one thing I can add is I had a very brief conversation with Otto. And he mentioned that the story from the Royce side is that House Taconis assaulted and obliterated House Davinos and House Royce, but the Taconis line is that House Royce killed one of their scions.
So they're pinning it on you.
Here's the thing. Even if both stories were to be believed, the severity of one, no offense, wildly outweighs the other.
Correct.
And all that was asked of me was not an accounting of what way I was related to it. It was merely to absolve him from any of my circle's intervention in this.
What did he ask you, or what did he say?
He asked if I was aware that I was not being held against my will, and if the Circle of Ancients had any stake in the conflicts among the Sundered Houses, to which I answered no, to his great relief.
His great relief?
Yes. I think whatever is happening, he has a plan and he wants to make sure that he will not catch any undue heat from my people in whatever's about to happen. I think he is resolved.
He's going to keep us here.
Yeah.
The longer we discuss this, the longer we dally, the more he's going to shore up the defenses and make it more difficult for us to slip through in the night.
Agreed.
Gather our things. Leave what you think to be the most clear declaration of our position here and what has transpired to be discovered, and we abscond with ourselves immediately.
I'm thinking of our men-at-arms and our servants. The ones imprisoned here.
I think whatever plans Lord Einfasen has for them, they were decided before you walked through these doors, regardless.
Well, I do care for our countrymen. You must agree in these very challenged times that your livelihood has far larger impact than theirs. They will not be slaughtered in their cages, unconnected to these events. At the very least, they might be safest here on these grounds. But the rest of our people are in danger.
Go ahead and give me, Julien, either insight or history check.
I'm gonna go history. That's a 3.
You see that looking out, you can see that Aranessa just shakes her head at the insinuation that she is more valuable than the people that are captured here. She looks out and says, "Missives going in the morning. We know that something is awry."
To give them the benefit of the doubt, they may only be, and I use this term loosely, siding with my family because you all are basically destroyed anyway.
Blood in the water.
And there's no repercussions from you if they don't. And it's the most pragmatic choice to side with the person who's stronger and who is more dangerous.
For how long? Until Primus Taconis walks in these doors and says, "Tonight the House of Einfasen falls."
And they learn a terrible lesson. than the same one you did.
As you say, the same one you did. Anyone who wants to make an insight check at this moment.
Most definitely.
24.
On a 24, Octus may not have meant it in that way, but you see Aranessa realize that her house did make the same choice. The lesson they learned. And I think Aranessa was a young woman when the Falconers' Rebellion started. But she realizes that her parents made the choice to side with the Draconis and the Halifar over the rebels that heard the Falcons cry, and it's led her to this moment.
I just stand beside her, and without being too obvious about it, just sort of like shoulder to shoulder.
She looks up at you. Forward.
Yeah.
My young Lord Draconis. Lord Einfasen cares above all else for the safety and power of his house. And I would only hope that there is a fly in his ointment as he seeks to discard the sundered house of Royce, which is hopefully in that shiny, fat head of his. He is thinking, why wasn't I told that there was a plan to destroy one of the great houses? And that's a question that burns in my mind and should burn in all of our minds.
Yeah. I'll say there is one last card to play. Draconis' line is that House Royce killed their child, and you're in their walls.
I am.
I no longer care about disproving the lie for Roy's credibility. I think we put a target on Einfasen's back by making it very clear that you are here too. I think there are consequences for lack of loyalty.
Interesting. Very interesting. My only concern with exposing myself is how do I get out?
If there's some way for you to simply make it known that you were here.
I have an idea.
And sheltered by Lord Einfasen himself.
Okay. I have an idea. I gotta go back to my room.
Julien, let's prepare to leave tonight.
Indeed.
So Octus is going to go back to his room, and he's going to take some parchment and a quill, and he's going to write a very polite and overly fanciful declaration of gratitude in order to allowing him to stay, Octus Draconis, to stay within the walls of this estate. And he is going to, once again, this time bringing out the same gilded amalgamation of a skeleton, place it on the ground, weave these green circles in burning it into the carpet on the floor, these arcane sigils, and then raising out of it this really gross cat. It pulls out of the sigil and just is holding it by the scruff of the neck and rolls up the note, puts it on the not the collar, but like ties it to the cat. And as it's sitting there, it says, "Look, now what I want you to do is absolutely destroy this room and then sit and wait till someone finds you." Octus grabs his things in his pack and then heads out the door again.
Incredible. What do you all do Do you guys just gather your things and prepare to head out?
Sorry, I very much want to put in the note that Royce did not kill me.
Gotcha.
My family did.
Incredible. You leave unmistakable, verifiable arcane evidence that you were here, and that you leave in writing that, in your own words, Royce did not kill you.
Yes.
You guys gather your things.
Yeah, before we get ready, do you want me to leave out the front door to perhaps make it easier for you to walk out the back?
Based on the conversation that you had with the Lord, perhaps that is the most prudent. I'd ask how he would ensure us ability to get together as one unit again, but you seem to have many tricks to...
Can you get the horses out?
I can.
Ernessa, if Taconis is indeed bound to the realm of shadow that ever grows with the spirits lost, and my apologies for not being as well learned in the details of the cosmology, but does Fairy in some way, door closed or not, keep that barrier strong than without? Would the destruction of the houses bound to Fairy perhaps give way to more strength to the realm of shadow?
She touches an amber pendant around her neck, and firefly light begins to emerge from behind her, and you see a line of women stretching back from her in light as she looks. In the far distance, you hear words in Sylvan. Is there anyone here that speaks Sylvan?
I do. No, I don't. I speak Elvish. Shit.
You hear these beautiful words being spoken in Julien. You understand them. They appear all throughout the Golden Orchard, written over and over again. And it says, "For what you have done, young mortal girl, to save the world of Fairy, will your children and your children's children, in generations beyond counting, ever know the blessings of our kind." And you see, it fades. Golden Orchard was given to us as a home for our family. And if our family was gone, I do not know that it would yet stand. I do not know. When I think of Fairy, I think of our home. It is the last piece of it left at the very doorstep of this world. If me and my cousins died, maybe the last thread connecting Fairy to Ahriman would vanish.
And we should be on our way. He quietly, slaps and pinches his cheek to try and shake off what wine still sits in his system.
We are high up in this keep, correct?
Yeah.
So we can't go out the front door. And the four of us, you're allowed to leave. The four of us are not. Well, the three of you are not. They don't know I'm here. Okay. I look out the window, which I assume there's a window in this bedroom.
There is, yeah.
Okay. Looking out, what do I see? And do I see any, what's the guard presence outside this window?
Give me a perception.
I cast guidance.
And a D4. Not bad. Perception. That's going to be some 18.
18, got it. 18, yes, there are guards patrolling the outside of the castle. There are not many. There are long sections of walls that just have street around them in the city, sort of fading away from the edge of the castle. There are gates at 2 of the towers. Each of those gates has 2 fully armored knights at them, and there are occasional patrols of 2 mounted knights just sort of like going up and down the road.
Okay.
There are also, I would say, in this section, it is early-ish evening, so there are still, call it, like some pedestrians and other people, because it's a city, there's places of revelry, and these are some beautiful villas and nicer homes near the castle, so you see there's some lights within the gardens and things like that. So there are also just some people. It's not unusual to have just people walking or carts going by on this road.
Great. If you want to get down quickly, I can make it so that we will not feel the impact of the fall.
Will the impact make enough noise to draw attention?
We will be as light as a feather.
Understood. Even this one?
Even this one.
Octus, what did you say in your letter?
I thank them very much for their hospitality and for the use of the baths, and I told them that the words of my family are false and that House Royce were not the ones to kill me, but my own family.
Very well.
Signed my name and then left on an undead creature.
Very well. There will be some slight rudeness in our departure, and that is informing the tone of the letter I'm about to write. She, you see that she quickly starts scribing something and says, Thaisha, are you to get the horses for us?
Yes.
Perhaps best for you to meet us, downstairs directly below the window?
If you think that's the best way for us to just ride out on horseback and bust through the guards, then yes, below the window to this would be excellent.
We're not doing this on a fight, are we?
Probably not.
Okay.
Adventure.
Unless you just want to leave and let us fight it out.
I would love nothing more than to leave you to die again.
Fight is only necessary if we fail to escape unseen.
Correct.
If the horses are waiting for us on the outside of the walls, perhaps at your behest, we could have the opportunity to meet up beyond the lordship's estate.
I will have the horses waiting outside the gate, and in the event that you are not outside the gate and there are still guards there, we will deal with the guards and get you outside the gate.
So then my last question is, there's 2 ways I can do this. We can gently float to the ground, but it will take time. Or we can fall and then catch ourselves at the last minute.
How high up are we?
You are about...
First story?
I'd say you're about 90 feet up.
Okay.
It will be quite a fall.
Indeed.
Quick weather check. I want to cast Druidcraft just to get a little weather forecast for what the evening's going to look like.
Up at this altitude, it is just as clear, 0% humidity.
Amazing. We will be less likely to be seen if we fall quickly.
Hey, I think there's some fog coming in later.
Ah, I see.
I'll see you on the other side.
I see you.
This time, when we run, maybe don't make a heroic last stand and beat feet.
Are you sure you can get those horses by yourself?
Trust me this one time, and if I fail you, I'll be your horse.
Got it.
Oh.
Octus, Thaisha, you leave. Octus, as you open the window to sort of look down and see what the fall is going to be like. Opening the window, looking out, preparing the spell, you hear a very surprising noise. And your vulture lands on the windowsill awaiting further instruction.
Did you get him? I look at the beak. Is there blood or anything on the beak?
There's blood on the beak.
Good boy. Good job.
You also see something else in the beak. Splinters. Looking at some wicker, you realize the only reason this vulture was able to catch that pigeon was that the pigeon made it to its destination, and that destination must be much closer than Dolmakyar.
Oh, interesting. Well, I guess good job. Interesting. The guards at the front gate.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hold on. I'm gonna have the vulture stay there for a minute, and I'm gonna decide what I want to do with it. Okay, so you've left.
Yep.
Okay. Are we ready to go?
I'd like to see what you can do. Jump out the window.
Aranessa goes, and you see Aranessa has just penned a letter. Julien, looking over her shoulder, you see the letter she writes is, my apologies for beating a hasty retreat. Certain Fae forces have come to our aid in our moment of need and availed themselves at the window. She then writes, returning to my full seat of power at the Golden Orchard, please pass on to my soldiers and men-at-arms at your imminent release of them that they are expected forthwith at the Golden Orchard.
I love Marisha.
Thaisha, you get down as you are crossing the courtyard. The front gates are opening, and a black carriage is pulling into the courtyard.
Oh,
God. That's fine.
Is it like, shades of black, like Taconis black?
It is shades of black.
Oh, how fun. Oh, how fun. And I'm just walking openly across a courtyard.
Oh,
no. We'd love to see it.
You sure?
I'm not hiding. I'm going to walk in the direct line, and then only when I get close enough to the stable to, veer off will I turn away.
You walk up, stepping from the carriage. The carriage is opened by some valets. You also see that the carriage is massive, and there are alcoves, almost like the alcoves of a cathedral, that would have a saint's statue in them, but that have empty suits of black full plate armor in them. The doors open, and two enormously tall, identical twin women emerge, looking out. Each of them is pushing 7 feet tall, weighing less than $150 each. You see that their sort of pallid flesh has a sort of metallic silvery sheen around the eyelashes, a square of lipstick just on the center portion of the bottom lip, thick sort of mascara and eyeliner. Their hair is a sort of corpse-like pallid blonde, such that their hair, which is slicked to the head, tied up into these tall buns that sort of snake up off their head. Their hair and skin color is pretty much identical, so it looks this like the hair coming around tight to the head.
I had to kill Octus to get that what?
And you see that the two sisters, dressed in these beautiful black gowns, have these very long arms, very gaunt, and a set of silver rings, torques around their neck that appear to almost be extending their necks up tall off their shoulders. They each emerge from the carriage and begin to walk to the central keep. They're not near you, but they're extremely striking to behold. And they begin to walk to the central keep as in the dark of night, a woman who they don't recognize is walking towards some stables.
Okay. Is there any way to do, even just a low chance, was I clocked as I so very much clocked them passing by?
Give me a perception check.
No.
I think one of them looks in your direction, doesn't make eye contact with you.
Okay.
You proceed to the stable as the two of them begin to approach the central keep.
I would love to be able to tell Octus that, but I didn't bring Ben.
Approaching the stable, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm assuming there's a stable hand here?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, what was your name?
Yusufia.
I would need my horse prepared. I have to go attend my business further north.
Very well. I will have your horse ready at once, my lady.
Thank you. Oh. Hold on. I'm gonna come back with you. My companions and I think I might prefer to take one of their horses since they're planning on staying here a little longer. So I'm gonna just try to come up with an excuse to make my way back towards the rest of the horses.
Oh yeah, you see there's no roll necessary. The stable hand is very understanding and says, very well. Your Holiness, this is, we have your horses here. Do you wish for them to be saddled and prepared for riding?
That would be great, thank you so much.
He gets to it and saddles up both horses that you've asked for.
Sweet. Other two. Bless you.
Stop it.
Yes. I'm gonna do my best to play a game of horse telephone and cast speak with animals to my two.
Yeah.
And try to get them to convey to the other two. If I loosen their bonds, can you come find us outside of the western gate? Can you find, come find your friends if I give you an opportunity to skedaddle.
See the horses hear your command and respond.
Great. Then I'm gonna do my best to try to futz the locks on the stalls of the other two horses. So, it's just old metal, whether it's, keeping it from latching properly or just kind of wanging the wood a little bit. I just want to see if I can sabotage the locks so the horses could, break free if they really tried.
Either cast a spell or you can give me a sleight of hand.
Let's try sleight of hand, a skill I don't have.
I love it.
But today's a new day, and anything can happen.
We believe in you.
I have a +1. Can I cast guidance on myself?
Sure.
Great. What's a D4? Okay, that's an 11 plus 13.
Do you need some help with that lock?
Oh, you seem so nice. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna cast Hold Person on him.
He looks at you and says, "Is everything all?"
I'm so sorry. This is not your fault. And, if the rumors about him are true, I think you're gonna have a very bad day when this is over. So, I wanna pull, 10 gold pieces out and put them in his pocket and be like, when you snap out of this, just run. Go start a new life. Do something somewhere else. I have to do this and it's not your fault. And I'm just gonna be like, all right, horses, new plan, come with me now.
Great, you take the horses out and see him standing, staring at the wall behind where you were standing when you cast the spell. The horses come out. And
old person.
It's only for a minute. Should I knock him unconscious? I feel worse.
Just pull the horses quickly.
Great.
Nah, I'm gonna elbow him in the back of the head. I need more than a minute.
Great. Boom.
Sorry.
He,
I had too much
paralyzed, hits the deck hard on his shoulder. Can't brace for the fall at all.
I put hay over him.
Oh no.
And 5 horses come out of the stable with you.
Yeah.
You approach the gate where you see there are guards. As you approach, you see one of the guards says, "Your Grace, pleasure."
Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Of course. Do you require escort into the city?
Oh, no. I have it from here. Thank you. And
appreciate you looking after my companions with such diligence.
Of course, they will be protected as long as they stay within the castle. You get out and go around the side. As you are going a little way, you hear some shouting from the courtyard.
Horses, time to run.
You canter up the street, and you guys from the tower look down and can see the horses beneath you.
There they are.
Okay.
You say while falling.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've gone out the window. Octus
Let's see
looks
what
at
you
the two of
got.
you and says, we have to go now.
Aranessa cannonballs out the window.
Without a moment's hesitation, full like.
Okay, so then as Octus throws himself out the window afterwards into a full dive to try and catch up, as he's going through the window to the vulture, says, with me, and goes down and pulls a feather out of the coat that he has thrown over his shoulders, still wearing the clothes he stole from the thing, not wearing his, but he grabbed his coat because that's where all his components are, has pulled a feather out, and he, as he's falling, throws it into his mouth, chews it up, and then spits 1, 2, 3, 4 feathers. One of them staying with him, the other 3 going and just pinning into you all. And as we fall, and right as we're about to hit, we go casting Featherfall.
Hell yeah.
Point landing.
You.
But it's like. Yeah. Completely silent.
Aranessa, as she's falling, goes and puts active effort right before the spell goes off to tuck her dress in between her knees. Unbecoming. And then hits the deck.
Full Alice in Wonderland.
Boom. And you guys land on the horses. I'm going to need a group stealth check, not from Thaisha, but from the 3 of you. Disadvantage.
You got it.
Natural 20.
Let's go.
Disadvantage.
Nat 1 from Aranessa.
That what?
Oh, that's a.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right, 22.
22 with disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled a natural 20 and a 16.
What do we got here, Vaelus?
12.
18.
18. So, taking the higher 2 rolls, the lower of them is an 18, which means that's your group stealth check. Is an 18. Pretty remarkable. So all
15 to 17.
You do the exact right thing. It's a busy street. There's pedestrians. All these guards are used to being approached on foot. They're not looking back at their own walls, let alone straight up. So all that happens is a lady comes by with some horses and arranges them, and then suddenly there's a weird flash. Some people kind of look at it like, what was that? Like something out of the corner of the eye. But all they see is some people standing on the street that are far away from any of the gate doors, so therefore not a threat. And you are all standing here in the dark with your horses. Aranessa says, marvelous. Shall we?
Yes.
I have the vulture lands on my shoulder and I go, get inside my cloak, or get inside my coat. And it kind of goes behind me on the saddle, because I can't have an undead vulture on my shoulder.
That's disgusting.
Do you have twin sisters?
Why do you ask?
Why do you think? Time to go.
Oh, shit.
You guys take off. A series of very important rolls are about to happen.
The way you said it made my butthole pucker.
Me too!
Series of very important rolls are about to happen. Number 1, you guys get on these horses and ride, getting away from the castle. Is anyone taking a lead as the 5 of you thunder out from here? This is as far as the plan got. You were acting fast and for good reason.
I'll do it.
Thaisha, you take the lead. Where are you leading people right now?
I'm just trying to get to the gate that heads out of town.
Okay, you are going to the first gate out of town. Go ahead, give me a history check. Difficulty 10 is the minimum for you to know this neighborhood well enough. If you can get a DC 15, that's a little better. A DC 20 will be flawless and will resolve the roll right there.
Can I use guidance?
You can use guidance on yourself.
Great. +1. Oh no! I have a +1 to history, and we made it to a 10.
Okay, DC 10 was the base for getting out of this neighborhood.
Okay.
As you pull out of the neighborhood, away from the castle, you do hear of that horn of warning sounding over the castle walls.
Cool.
You pull out to get you to the edge of this sort of castle area. busiest thoroughfare going back in the direction of that massive pulley gate. On that 10 history check, that pulley gate is the one that you saw going down. The only other thing you would know on a 10 is there are also... A 10 is not high enough for you to have a surefire way out. The pulley gates lead up and down. They are also the most watched that go up and down the cliffside. There are other smaller thoroughfares. The smaller thoroughfares, by virtue of being smaller, will make you stick out more. 5 horses going down a narrow switchback all the way down this like several 100-foot tall cliff will be noticeable. The third is, if you don't want to go towards these busy thoroughfares, the beer gardens, the other sort of like populated places, getting away from the castle, you do see the road lined with shrines and statues leading up to Shangarden, which would be the druidic sort of like power center, or the druidic Holy Grove.
Oh, I like Holy Grove. But also, out is so close. How far away is this big-ass gate?
Big-ass gate is short. It would be probably, I'll put it this way. I will make you roll one time to get to the pulley gate, but you don't necessarily know how often the pulley gate is operating at night.
Right, is it up or down?
Is it up or down right now? It would be 2 rolls to get to Shangarden.
Heard. Before I make this decision, can I cast through my staff Speak with Plants to ask the gate if it's up or down?
Incredible. What is the range on Speak with Plants?
I don't know. I got so nervous I didn't want to keep looking. I lost the ability to read.
You looked at, and I think in this moment, I think in this,
it's your actual voice.
Yeah.
I think in this moment, you guys pull up on your horses at the first large crossroads as the castle walls fade behind these sort of like alpine beer garden and like residential houses. You guys, this street is like all those places that have the like second floors are larger than the first floor, overhanging. And there's also like lines of laundry strung up between the buildings here that allow you to like get a little bit of cover from watchtowers on the castle walls. But this is your point of making a decision here. You can cast that if you get closer to the pulleys, but it's either go for the pulley gate, which is close, and hope to get lucky, or take the riskier route to Shangarden and deal with whatever's there when you get there.
This is awful. I know moving towards my power base is the correct call, but the closer I bring Octus to my people, the more worried I am for him. But I need a sure bet. And they don't fuck with the druids. Not
Which
right
one is
away.
closest to Castle Torch?
Shawngarden.
You're gonna go to Shangarden? You're gonna go to the druids?
Yeah.
Okay. You are going to pull off. I'm gonna go ahead right now, and I just want to do this for fun. I was gonna make
fun.
It was a 16 or higher on the die for the pulley to be at the city and active.
Yeah.
15. It would have just pulled out of the station headed down if you guys had arrived.
Golly.
Maybe you could have jumped.
On all the horses.
You got to hold on tight to your horse. Okay, there are going to be 2 rolls getting to Shangarden. The 2 rolls getting there will, I think, actually be animal handling, just to get the horses there fast enough. Or you could slow way down and take stealth. It's up to you. But stealth would be more rolls.
Animal handling, please.
Okay. I'm going to need 2 DC 15 animal handling checks.
I hate to ask, can I use guidance?
You absolutely can.
It's giving me roughly 1 extra every time. All right. Oh shit, one of those is not great. 19 for one.
Okay.
And 15 for the other.
Hey!
Oh, the +2 health.
Yay! Unbelievable. Okay, so you guys see Thaisha takes off into the city, moving away from the pulley gates. Julien, I think you recognize that you're moving away from these other areas. As you do, pulling away from them, you see a file of Einfasen knights taking off down the road behind you, right for the pulley gate. You head off into the city, rising up. As you do, you look and see massive dolmens, carved stone. You see ancient writing written by the hands of giants in these massive standing stones. You see there are several shrines here with bits of dwarven stone tablet across them from dwarven pilgrims traveling here, and this enormous series of waterfalls collecting in pools around which are snow-white blossoms from dark green vines. You see there is light purple that is cast even more indigo under the starlight and the glow of Illumi's blanket, the sort of planetary rings. And you can see as the wind blows, there are mountain heather and snapdragons that small motes of glittering starlight sort of come off in the night wind. These little bioluminescent flowers under the garden pull away. You look over and see resting, overlooking this central there's a massive flat boulder with a stone circle. It's 8 calendar stones, things that map the passing of seasons. And you see there is a enormous, probably 12-foot long, mottled gray and white spotted leopard with a series of curling ram's horns coming off that is sleeping up on a ledge overlooking this place. And probably several hundred cloth pennants blowing in the night breeze. As you approach this place, you see that there is a large, beautiful wrought iron gate closed in front of it, but you see that the gate has a small brass-handled door in the gate, and you can see, is there anyone here that speaks either Dwarven or Giant? It's actually a sort of a language that's almost in a shared dialect between the two.
I do not.
I speak Giant.
You speak Giant. In Giant is the sort of giant rune for sanctuary written on this little inset door within the larger gate, and it has a small, that rune appears in brass next to the doorknob.
I think you knew where to go.
Yeah, we slow down. We don't have to I think it's worse to be stomping through the streets. But I'll happily. Do you want to take it since you read it?
You do it.
Then I'll dismount from my horse. I'm gonna summon Hala beside me. And yeah, just reach out to the brass handle and open the door.
This custom in sacred groves here within the mountains of Kavros, in the far west of Helvar, the gate is closed to congregants and gatherers at night, as the grounds are tended to by the druids who live here in residence. But as always, a door is left unlocked for those seeking sanctuary. The sanctuary door is opened, and you are able to enter this place. As you walk up the steps, you see that the leopard and from this central grove you look, and there are several staircases. One of them goes down into this beautiful mountain grotto with these hardy, scraggly little pine trees that grow horizontal out from a crag and then, hook around to start growing upwards. There are several small cottages. You can see a small mess hall, and this appears to be a druidic monastery. So there are many druids that are living here and observing their faith in this place. But as the panther sort of growls, this leopard growls, a small candlelight comes on in a very small cottage right at that staircase of boulders going down. And you see an old dwarven man comes out. He's got his thick braided beard. It's all done up. At the bottom of his beard, so there's a small opening with a little twig poking out of it that you recognize is a birdhouse. And you see that he has a shaven head, a series of tattoos that come down with giant and dwarven tattoos that sort of follow these bands, almost like a badger's stripes, as he steps out and goes, "Oh, welcome. Please come inside. Are you injured, or is there any other reason that you seek sanctuary here?"
Thank you, cousin. We need to rest and make our way out of town.
Oh. Yeah, cousin, it is good to see you. I am Mozor of the Circle of Stone.
Thaisha of the Circle of Ancients.
Cousin, you are welcome here. These are your companions.
Yes, I will let them speak for themselves.
I'm Vaelus.
Hi, Octus. Nice to meet you.
Lady Ernessa and Sir Julien Davinos.
Of the sanctuary that is offered to you here, is your privacy a part of the sanctuary which you wish?
I have had enough of secrets for one night. I think some fellowship and open hearts would do us good. No, thank you.
Very well. I will tend to your horses outside the gate, but please see yourself to the bunks below, and whatever place to sleep you can find is yours.
Thank you.
He turns and says,
"Forgive a moment of assurance to the safety of those gathered here."
You see, he looks out.
Mm-hmm. The one here in your company, for how long have you known him?
6 months. And I trust him with my life.
Do you trust him with his own?
He, dear cousin, is part of a bigger conversation that I needs must have with my circle and many others. But perhaps not tonight.
My mind and conscience are my own, though.
This is very strange, cousin.
We live in strange days.
And it is no stranger to anyone than myself.
I would ask, then, that you see to it that your friend does not handle the sacred waters of this place, no touch of the food meant to feed our family.
I cannot eat anyway.
Understood. I bring mystery to your door, but not trouble in the form of Octus. I swear it.
Very well. Help yourselves to a place to stay.
And you see he turns to go handle your horses.
Having stood there during this conversation, he peels open his coat and goes, "You gotta go." And just unsummons that vulture.
How much other dead stuff do you have on you?
Other than the cat that I left in the castle, and Pin, none.
Okay, good to know.
But Pin is away.
Remember the magic I was using in Venatus?
with the undead that we fought there. Everyone here is as adept.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Yes.
I get it.
I'm gonna not say anything.
It's okay. I just stay close. I've got you.
Okay.
We're friends.
Yeah.
Thaisha, you trust this place is safe?
Yes. Without a doubt.
Very well.
Aranessa looks to you, Thaisha, and says, we will be able to sleep here, knowing that we are in the same city where Octus's sisters are prowling?
The only conversation Lord Einfasen had with me was to make sure that my people did not meddle in his affairs. He will think twice, even the Taconuses will think twice about making this big a move. But if you want to try to leave tonight, we can do that too. I just didn't trust that the gate that we were heading towards was our best option out. But we don't have to sleep here.
I do not know if staying here is the best endeavor. We do not know how far they'll go to try and find you.
I feel the same way.
If they are eager to toss very viable lies across the other sundered houses so easily, then whatever we are tied into, is of grave importance to them.
Yes, but do they want to bring this outside of the sundered houses?
Yeah.
Are they involving all factions that exist in this world in this fight?
We do not know this.
Exactly. But I will say, some of us don't need to sleep. So if we can get you all rest here, I can be on watch, as I don't sleep anymore. And if trouble shows up, we can go.
Lady Aranessa.
I don't think we will be attacked here.
This is the last place an undead Taconus would come. Sanctuary written on the gate or not.
Confidence and safety is what allowed us to be taken aback by the esteemed and legendary hospitality of the Einfasen.
Well,
fair point.
We don't know the Einfasen actually have done anything against us yet. It might just be an abundance of caution. I'm just trying to be fair to a house who might not have done anything.
I will sleep with one eye open. Stay near, lady.
Descending down this beautiful series of falling boulders to arrive at this tiny little alpine well surrounded by several humble sort of bunk houses. You see that there is a very fat grizzly bear sleeping under a pine tree. There's a number of owls in the branches. And within, you see that there are long halls that have beautiful ember-filled fireplaces that are keeping it piping hot. It's so warm that it's like soporific. It makes you want to fall asleep. Going to these little bunkhouses smells like wood smoke. And there are shelved beds in the walls. And you see that there are a number of druids, many of whom have like dirty boots and other things like that that are sort of sleeping here. This is sort of the wanderer's bunk. You see there are other larger buildings. There's a large keep, beautifully made of like stunning ancient mason work that is the keep of the Circle of Stones, that is the attendance circle of this holy place. But you also see that there are one or two other bunks that appear to have some trappings around them. Go ahead and give me a religion check. Actually, give me a nature or religion, whichever you prefer.
Let's go nature. Okay. 18 for a nature check.
18 for nature. You see some other attendant druidic circles that are here. There is a small banner flapping by one of the bunkhouses that represents the Circle of Seasons, which is a circle that works very closely hand in hand with the Circle of Ancients in terms of healing barrow dells and trying to heal the world. Across the grotto, not in one of the bunkhouses, you do see a small half shield constructed of wood and bone that bears 3 bloody stripes on it that you recognize as being one of many symbols of the Circle of the Hunt, which is a circle that I think you've heard of as being one of a handful of very powerful global orders of druids. And this is one that you heard of a couple years ago as being like, oh, there are some druids of the Circle of the Hunt that, have, it was something about when Iyengar was joining the Barrow Guard, there were some druids from the Circle of the Hunt that were interested in helping that endeavor. You've heard of them more recently being extremely opposed to an envoy of druids headed towards a place called the Totality in Hargood. That they are from everything you've heard, a very grave and fearsome circle of druids.
Amazing. Do I see any banners of, do I see anything from the Circle of Ancients present here?
There is a symbol of the Circle of Ancients in the center tree in this little circle of buildings, this grotto, that is hanging in a place of honor and prominence, but there do not appear to be any druids of Ancients in attendance here.
Then I think I'm going to go over to the tree, and whatever branches are closest to it, I want to druidcraft just a little more vibrancy around it. Not to throw more focus or honor of it, but just to be very clear that there is a member of the Circle of Ancients present here now.
Awesome.
Okay, I can go and have some conversations and see if I can secure us stealthier egress from the city.
Okay. We'll find a place to be gathered together. Should stay relatively close to each other.
Agreed.
Can I get you anything? You're looking a little pale.
I'm fine.
And I walk away.
Thaisha, you walk away. Aaroness looks over at you, Julien.
Gotta do it for baby daddy.
Let's try to get some rest, I suppose.
Need it.
Thought I was going to get to sleep in a big, beautiful bed.
You and me as well. It was a terrible thing to have pulled away.
At least we got a bath.
Nice. I'm hoping those were my sisters.
You've got the family there, Octus.
Oh,
You sure you're the black sheep on this, or do you carry some of this thread of darkness within you beyond just this soft, sweet boy persona you put on for all of us?
Look, an apple never falls that far from a tree. If they're here, that means they were already somewhere close to the city, because the bird that the handmaiden got out, my vulture did catch, but it caught where it roosted. Which means the note that she sent got to wherever it was going.
It was close.
And it was close.
Very well. So they know that we are here.
Or whatever that note said, they know.
Have to assume they've been notified of
Right, but they didn't know I was there.
Well, they will now.
Yes.
Is there anything we need to know about your sisters? Are they looking to kill you again as well?
I don't know if they know I'm alive or what they know. Look, they're my oldest. If it is my sisters, Petra and Raya, they're the oldest. probably dealt with them the least out of all my siblings, as they were already, well, on doing important work when I was born.
What was this?
Surprising no one, they're not kind.
What is this important work that your family does that you keep talking about?
I just mean the daily duties of a noble family.
I think our families have different duties, but nevertheless, good to be wary of your sisters and wary of any Taconis. But
I don't know what they did exactly. I was not privy to a lot of information that flowed through my house. I was apparently disposable enough that they decided to kill me when I didn't show any worth.
Fair. There is a non-zero chance that they come upon us some point, if not tonight, on our way out. What can you tell us about your sisters that we should be wary of? Anything in particular that we can use to try and be safe? Or at least,
I literally just asked him that. To see if we could gather any information on these people.
Look,
Julien,
how
much did you have to drink? This is why I don't drink. Because we always have to be ready.
Look, it's hard. You know that my family are sorcerers of undeath. I've seen what my father can do. Petra and Raya are his first children. So by going on a scale of me to my sisters, they're the most powerful, probably, of my siblings.
and yet when you ask a second time while drunk, you get more information. How strange.
This is true. This is more information than you gave me, so thank you for double vertical.
I'm desperately trying to quantify my family to all of you.
Aranessa looks and says, Octus, you don't have to tell us if there's a secret hole in your sister's back that if we shoot an arrow into it, it will...
If there was,
I would like to know if there is a secret hole in your sister's back.
I don't know what they... I think I saw them maybe 10 times my entire life. I don't know them. But they'll know me.
They're about 100 pounds soaking wet, so...
Your family...
Okay.
Yeah.
You see, Aranessa looks at you and says, that's a recent development. When I was a little girl, I remember when the Taconis referred to themselves as keepers of the passage of life into death. And now they openly refer to themselves as masters of the undead.
I appreciate the honesty.
They sound delightful.
Well, there's a reason I left home when I was 15. Fair. But they did have an important job at one point in time.
You hear a noise outside saying, cousin.
Oh, sorry. I had a thing to do. Apologies.
You see that Mozor is out there with his hands crossed behind his back saying,
yes, cousin.
Would you come to speak with two of our brethren, if you'd be so kind?
Of course.
Walking back up to the sacred grove, you see that there is an enormous bearfolk woman. She's about 8 feet tall. She has this beautiful flowery gown. She's old. You see that she has like lots of gray, long hairs in her bear-like eyebrows. So she's physically imposing, massive, and she's sat on her haunches in that kind of like bear sit on the ground. Mostly you just get a sense to like lower herself to be a little bit easier to talk to. And there's another druid that it's hard to see what he is. He has this wild helm mask that's got like a bird's, like a long predatory beak, feathers, wood things, like tied strands of hair that come off of it. Looks like this weird rainbow scavenger barbarian got like claw extensions coming from wrists, lots of nuts and beads and various tied things. He is like some... In Ahriman, it's not typical for druids to dress like that because after the fall of the gods, communities depended on druids to give some connection to the power of what is sacred in our world. And it's not that doesn't mean festooning yourself with wilderness. It just means being this unapproachable is unusual for a druid. Being this sort of imposing. But you see these two figures there that Mozart walks up with.
I think as I walk towards them then, especially seeing the non-bear folk, I've been using my sweet little cane to walk. I'm like, okay, we're all big druids here. And I'm going to tap it on the ground once and grow the wood inside it and turn it from that horse head to the massive dragon's head that's now just pouring out sort of forge-colored magic. Cool. We're all big kids here. I walk up, perfectly pleasant. Cousins.
Cousin. You see that the old bear folk woman says, "Welcome, cousin. It's nice to have you. Hi. I am Amadal, Toadstool, and you see that she turns over and says, "Welcome to Shungarten. We are sorry to pull you from what has presumably been a hard day.
Not at all.
We have rather a hard conversation to have." You see that the other druid takes his bird-like helm off, and what you thought, you realize as he takes it off, was part of his druidic armor is actually that half of his ribs are living wood, and you see some organs exposed under what is a partially wooden rib cage that reaches up. You can see his trachea and esophagus through a single tendon as some injury has like warped that away. And a wild-eyed elven man looks at you and says, "You've brought something that needs to die into this camp." And that's all for this episode. Critical Role.
No, we can go for 4 more hours.
Just like 20 more minutes.
Come on, someone's gotta not want to kill me.
Someone's gotta not want to kill me.
Someday.
You're like when everyone decides you should die in Catan, and then you somehow survive, and then you just die on the next turn. Because people don't like it when you don't die. They're like, "No, man, we got you out, okay?"
Oh my God! Come on.
So good. Every new druid is cooler than the last druid. This is so dope.
We love it.
Oh my God.
Oh no,
Folks,
my sisters are so scary.
Sisters are scary. Druids are scary. It's all scary. The only question I have is it Thursday yet?
Yeah. We have the soldiers who are chasing something down. The schemers, which I assume are going to be just staying where they're rooted and figuring shit out, and we're the ones that just has to keep running away.
Because we got hot potato twink over here. Yeah.